Part 84. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 843. The Master Guan of the Golden Buddha Temple is a bodhisattva in the realm of Tai Immortal. Under him, there are 3 bodhisattvas in the Tai Celestial realm in the Golden Buddha Temple. Strong and highly respected. However, since entering the jurisdiction of Chongshan Academy, everything has been different. Because within the territory of Chongshan, regardless of Buddhism or Taoism, preaching is not allowed, and violators will be severely punished. Don't think this is empty talk. In the past 100 years, the grass on the grave of anyone who disobeyed has grown 3 feet high. Under the leadership of Yi, Yuxia went straight to the main hall of the Golden Buddha Temple. In the center of the vast hall, the clay statue of Sakyamuni Buddha shines with golden light, and the 2 statues of Kassapa and Ananda on the left and right are even more sacred. The rich Zen singing of Buddhist music pours into the ears, almost making people want to kneel down in front of the Buddha and take refuge immediately. Yuxia took a slight breath, and the bronze mirror projection of his dantian penetrated directly into the heavenly spirit. In an instant, all the Buddha's sounds were blocked out. He looked at the old monk sitting among dozens of monks, with a thin body, an old face, a red cassock draped sideways, and a strong and powerful aura. Yuxia slapped his head. Yuxia, a disciple of Chongshan Academy, meets Master Yu Guan. The old monk suddenly opened his eyes, and the bright Buddha's light flashed away. I don't know why Donor B wants to see me. Yuxia was assigned by the master to ask the master, do you still remember the agreement you made with me at Chongshan Academy? The old monk's eyes flashed. How do you remember? So what if you don't remember? If you remember, please take away the 3 madmen of your sect, Jingguo, Jinglin, and Jingxiu. They killed 39 members of Lu Qiao's family in Baoking Mansion, Nanzhou. They committed many evil deeds. Do it according to the law and comfort the souls of the dead. If you don't remember, I can repeat it to the master. If the master feels that what I said is not good, my master, Taoist Master Hesha, and my senior brother Wang Li can explain it clearly to the master together. The calm words were full of threats. What a courage! To the right of the old monk, a middle-aged monk wearing a bright red cassock said angrily. The huge sound resounded through the hall, like a roaring lion, shocking the mind. The powerful Buddha's light, like layers of huge waves, shot straight towards Yuxia. Shua. A 5-color divine light is like the bright and scorching sun rising from the east. Although the Buddha's light is strong, it is unbearable. Yuxia was shrouded in the 5-color divine light, his eyes looking directly at the old monk sitting in the middle. I wonder if Master Yu Guan remembers it or not. Amitabha, fellow Taoist Hesha, you have a good disciple. After the old monk finished speaking. Zingfa. A tall monk wearing apricot yellow robe stood up from the monks on the left and walked to the front. The presiding abbot. Bring those 3 villains and let this fellow Taoist Yi take them away. Abbot. Go ahead. Disciple, obey. Monk Zingfa stood up and looked at Yuxia with an unkind expression. Fellow Taoist B, please. Thank you, Master Yuchen. After the execution, Yi Shiu followed the monk Zingfa and walked out. After watching the 2 people go away, the old monk spoke. What do you think of this Yuxia? The old monk with big ears and shoulders and a slightly fat figure on the left spoke. Neither humble nor arrogant, knowing how to advance and retreat, it shows that his character is not bad. To have the cultivation of Tai Celestial Immortal is enough to show that his qualifications, understanding, and perseverance are extraordinary. Chongshan Academy is really lucky to have such disciples to inherit the sect. Yes. This is just a 3rd-generation disciple. His teacher, Taoist Master Hesha, is even more extraordinary. Half a year ago, he swept away 18 great demons in Zayao Mountain, including the 3 demons Black Wind, Xanthurium, and Baidid. The strong men at the peak of Tai true immortal are still wiped out, which shows their strength. The speaker was wearing an old monk's robe. He had a slender figure, his eyebrows were lowered, and his breath was filled with compassion. Being able to sit in the front with monk Guan is obviously a senior monk in the Bodhisattva realm. Abbot, two uncles, even if Chongshan Academy is powerful, our Buddhist sect is not an easy one. In my opinion, we should unite with Shangfang Temple of Jingguo, Kongguan Temple of Byakuo, Cin Temple of Byakuo, Beishan Temple of Meiguo, and in the Jin Dynasty, Xiongguo Temple. The six jungles jointly attacked Chongshan Academy and completely destroyed this roadblock in front of my Buddhist door. No. The slightly fat old monk spoke to stop him. There are more than a dozen disciples in the Tai true immortal realm of Chongshan Academy, and no less than 100 disciples in the Tai celestial immortal realm. They are extremely powerful. What's more, the several founders of Chongshan Academy who are hidden behind the scenes are even more powerful. Although no one has seen them take action, based on common sense, they are at least Tai Xianxian, or even Tai Golden Immortal level experts. Even if it's just Tai Xianxian, coupled with the many Tai realm disciples from Chongshan Academy, it's not something that our six jungles can handle together. The tall, thin old monk nodded in agreement. In addition to the strength of the disciples of Chongshan Academy, they will set up formations every time they conquer a place. With the power of the formations, they can withstand several times the number of enemies. Previously, hundreds of great demons joined forces to attack Chongshan Academy. The Wuji true monarch Lin Zhengying's lineage, but 6 or 7 Tai realms, relied on a mountain protecting formation to almost completely suppress it. If it weren't for the fast running of the Bull Demon King, Jilei Mountain would now be. I'm afraid there is no master anymore. The usual old monk nodded. In fact, they haven't said anything yet. The direct disciples of Chongshan Academy have a potion immortal treasure beside them. Even if they are alone, they can quickly gather their fellow disciples and kill their opponents. In the past nearly 100 years, no less than 100 demons and sects have fallen on it. It was obvious that they had carefully planned to trap the enemy in a desperate situation, but in the next moment, a steady stream of Chongshan disciples directly turned the minority into the majority, turned the disadvantage into an advantage, and defeated the opponent every time. And they also like to pretend to be pigs and eat tigers. Therefore, there are very few people who intercept and kill the direct disciples of Chongshan Academy. As for the inner disciples, there are too many. Even if they die in battle, it will not threaten the foundation of the Chongshan lineage. Instead, it will attract their crazy revenge. The effort is not proportional to the gain, and the wise will not do it. Are we going to have to swallow our anger forever? The middle-aged monk said angrily. Of course not. The old monk shook his head, his tone affirmative. The current development of Chongshan Academy is like a raging fire cooking oil. In just 300 years, it has developed from a place in the Yu Kingdom of only 90 million miles to a huge territory of 300 billion miles. Moreover, its many regulations that prohibit preaching, require monks to abide by the law, and immortals and ordinary people are equally guilty, have long offended many sects such as Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. As they continue to expand, there will be more and more people like me in their territory who dare to be angry and dare not speak out. When the anger accumulates enough, just a match will start a wildfire. At that time, the internal and external attacks will be enough to overturn this mountain. So. His tone suddenly became serious and he said with warning. We don't need to do anything now, we just need to wait quietly for this point to come. Amitabha, the abbot has great advice. All the monks worshipped him. Abbot, you insist on handing over Jingguo, Jinglin, and Jingxiu to Chongshan, but in order to numb their hearts? Asked a young monk next to him. The consistent monk glanced at him appreciatively, and then nodded under the attention of everyone. If you try to resist now, you will only get burned. It is better to hand over the person, bow your head temporarily, be arrogant, and relax your vigilance against us, so that you can act secretly. The abbot has profound wisdom and I admire him. Nanshan City, Nanzhou City, has a population of hundreds of millions. Chongshan Academy destroyed nearly 100 countries and divided the 300 billion miles of territory into 108 states, each of which was 3 billion miles across. There are counties under the states, and each state has 300 counties. Each county has about 10 million miles. There are counties under the prefecture, and each county has 600 counties, and each county is about 150,000 miles away. There are villages and towns under the county. Villages are for thousands of people and towns are for 10,000 people. They vary in number and size. Such a four-level management system greatly simplifies the management levels. That is to say, there is an ancestor in Chongshan Academy who is proficient in weapon refining and space methods. He can refine a large number of teleportation arrays and connect every county. This can only be achieved by universalizing spiritual practice and transforming walking instruments and flying instruments into cabbages. A 5-color ray of light flew into the Nanshan courtyard of Chongshan Academy. Yuxiu's figure appeared when he landed on the ground. The disciples on duty around him hurriedly bowed. See Dean. Yuxiu is now the Dean of Nanshan Court. No need to be polite. With a casual wave of his hand, he threw Jingguo, Jinglin, and Jingxiu over. Bring these 3 monks to the Ministry of Criminal Justice for justice. Yes. As soon as he took a step, his figure disappeared instantly, and when he reappeared, he was already in the cave attached to the academy. Come in. Came a calm voice. Yuxiu opened the door and went in. Taoist priest Hesha, who was wearing a green Taoist robe and a colorful crown, with a clear face, was sitting cross-legged on a futon. In front of him was a 3-foot bronze mirror, which showed the main hall of the Golden Buddha Temple. Master. Sit. Otokyo calmly sat down on the futon next to him. No need to say more, let's take a look first and then talk. Yuxiu swallowed the words that came to his lips and started reading quietly. The bronze mirror projection that the direct disciples of Chongshan Academy will have has many wonderful uses, and the 1,000-mile mirror is one of them. Thousands of miles is just an adjective. In fact, Taoist Master Hesha and other second-generation disciples have pushed the bronze mirror projection to the extreme and can see tens of billions of miles around them in one glance. The Golden Buddha Temple is only 300 million miles away from Nanshan City, so it can be seen clearly. After quietly watching everything that happened in the hall after he left, Yuxiu frowned slightly. After seeing Taoist Hesha put away the bronze mirror projection. Master, there are nearly 100 sects like the Golden Buddha Temple in Chongshan. If even half of them hold this idea, it will definitely become a cancer that harms the development of our Chongshan Academy. What do you think? Of course it's about nipping the danger in the bud. If it were so simple, I wouldn't have kept them in the first place. Taoist priest Hesha stood up and walked out, followed closely by Yuxiu. Our Chongshan Academy is a well-known and upright sect, and so are the Golden Buddha Temple and Seoxia Temple. If we kill them all or drive them out without a justifiable reason, we will only find ourselves surrounded by enemies on all sides. Doing this before you have absolute strength is actually a recipe for self-destruction. Master's intention is to lure them to take action, and then we can strike back, Yuxiu asked. This is just a means, consolidating the foundation and cultivating the strength is the foundation. Your master has issued an order for us to suspend the attack on the remaining countries until we have digested these 300 billion miles of territory and tens of trillions of people. Yuxiu nodded. With the magical power of the Zongzong treasure, I believe that within a few hundred years, the strength of our Chongshan Academy will be doubled. By then, the Golden Buddha Temple and Seoxia Temple will no longer be a threat. He patted his shoulder approvingly. Let's go and play chess with me. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 844. Chapter 825 Temporary Hibernation. Chongshan residence in the sacred mountain outside the sky. Su Junming, Renwuji, Dragon Emperor, and Tai Zhenjun, who had just overcome the tribulation and advanced to Tai Xianxian, were sitting cross-legged under the pavilion beside the creation spirit pond. The faint fragrance of tea makes people feel extra clear-headed. Wrapped by the rolling spiritual energy of creation, the whole body feels comfortable. Really plan to stop? Tai Zhenjun asked. Su Junming nodded. 300 billion miles is enough for us to digest for a long time. If we continue to expand, the hidden dangers will be too great. If you are afraid of those sect coalition forces, I don't think there is any need. Even if they can gather 100 Tai true immortals, under my world-protecting formation, they will have no choice but to surrender, Renwuji said confidently. What I'm worried about is not these sects that are suppressed by us, but the two sects of Buddhism and Taoism. After a pause, Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief. You all know that the purpose of our Chongshan sect, although it is called Taoism, is actually completely different from Taoism's idea of tranquility and inaction. It is completely opposite to Buddhism. We will inevitably go against them in the future. Now our territory is not wide and our strength is not strong enough to attract the attention of Sakyamuni or Tai's Hanglajun. If we continue to expand, when the territory of Chongshan Academy exceeds 1 trillion miles, we will hide away if we want to. Can't hide it anymore. The jurisdiction of 1 trillion miles is almost the standard of an imperial dynasty. Although the Nanzan continent has a huge area of more than 200 trillion miles, after excluding the areas occupied by the Demon Clan, Shaman Clan, etc., as well as the deserts and plateaus that are not suitable for survival, the imperial dynasty that truly controls an area of over 100 million, plus there are only 9 in total. Once Chongshan Academy joins it, it will almost 100% be noticed. Moreover, the area of 300 billion miles has expanded to the limit that Chongshan Academy can currently bear. If it weren't for the emergence of Hunyuan Zhenmin, the strength of the direct disciples of Chongshan Academy would explode, let alone 300 billion. Even if it is 30 billion, we may not reach it. Everyone nodded in agreement. The Hunyuan divine sect can often support Yuan Yang realm monks 1-to-1, or even thousands of times longer, with the help of bronze mirrors. Only then did Kongshan's third-generation disciples break through to the Tai realm in batches. There is a basis for rapid expansion. However, the time blessing provided by the Hunyuan divine sect to monks in the Tai realm is far less than that of the Yuan Yang realm. Moreover, the great avenues of Tai realm are also more difficult to comprehend. It is almost impossible to advance quickly. How long are we going to hibernate? Renwuji asked. Su Junming picked up the teacup and took a sip, then smiled lightly. 500 years. The time when Monkey Sun was suppressed, Tai Zhenjun said suddenly. That's right. 500 years later, both Buddhism and Taoism will focus on Buddhism spreading eastwards, which will somewhat distract their energy. Of course, if 500 years later, we have the strength to sweep across Liuhe, it doesn't matter if we travel westward or eastward, we can sweep across the southern continent and stand side by side with Buddhism and Taoism. Seeing that everyone's eyes were focused on him, Tai Zhenjun quickly waved his hand. I can only say that I will try my best. Even with the help of the Bronze Mirror and the Hunyuan Divine Sect, it will not be easy to break through to the Great Logo True Immortal within 500 years. In the earthly immortal world, the strongest person that can be accommodated is the Logo True Immortal. Once you exceed this level, you will be excluded from the earthly immortal world and heaven. At that time, no one, unless they are saints, can withstand the power of heaven in a medium-sized world. Therefore, the Sakyamuni and Tai's Hanglajun in this world only have the cultivation level of the Logo True Immortal. You still have the Daodi inner elixir, the Dragon Emperor added. rolled his eyes. Of course I know. That's the great Logo true immortal. Even those highly qualified talents need hundreds of thousands or even millions of years of hard practice. Even if I have the bronze mirror, Daodi inner elixir and Hunyuan divine gate, 500 years is too short. It's not like you have to succeed within 500 years. Why are you nervous? Su Junming said. Tai Zhenjun just breathed a sigh of relief. However, if there are so many favorable conditions and you still can't become a great Logo celestial immortal in 500 years, within a few years, the Hunyuan divine sect will have no share of you. Seeing Su Junming's calm expression, Tai Zhenjun's plump face trembled and he nodded fiercely. However, we all share the same true spirit. There is no reason to ask just me. Can you just relax and watch the show next to me? 500 years from now, when your cultivation level reaches the level of De Logo True Immortal, we will be De Logo Celestial Immortal. If your cultivation level reaches De Logo Celestial Immortal, we will be Tai Golden Immortal, Ren Wuji said with a smile. De Logo Tianxian is perfect or Tai Jinxian is perfect, otherwise I would be at a huge loss. Perfection is perfection. Ren Lauer, this is what you said. If you can't complete it, don't blame me for not giving you face, Tai Zhenjun said with a smile. Humph, just wait and see. Boring. The Dragon Emperor snorted coldly, and his figure gradually disappeared. Isn't this guy scared? Ren Wuji said. Possible. Tai Zhenjun nodded in agreement. Seeing them looking towards him, Su Junming stood up. I also want to make alchemy, you can discuss it among yourselves. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure disappeared. As soon as the two left, Ren Wuji and Tai Zhenjun lost interest in arguing and left separately. The tree wants to be still but the wind doesn't stop. When you don't want to cause trouble, trouble comes to you. Two rays of light came flying from the southwest and soon stopped. From it emerged a tall man in white robes with divine lines looming between his eyebrows, and a thin man in yellow robes with medium build. The auras of the two of them were extremely strong, especially that of the big man in white robes, whose aura was even more powerful. Ahead is where you said Chongshan Academy is. The big man in white robe stared for a moment and then said. Exactly. This place was originally the Chiun Ridge of the Biao Kingdom. After the Biao Kingdom was annexed by Chongshan Academy 10 years ago, this place also became their territory. Immortal Lord, Chongshan Academy has deployed formations on every inch of the territory. If we break in directly, we are afraid they will notice it. It doesn't matter. The purpose of this Immortal Lord's visit is to destroy this Chongshan Academy that wantonly kills my demon clan. It's better for them to notice that they are coming to visit me than for me to find them. After saying that, the light flew up and headed straight ahead. Soon, a powerful formation blocked the way forward. This is the Forbidden Air formation set up by Chongshan Academy. An area of 300 billion miles and a height of 10,000 feet is the territory under the jurisdiction of Chongshan. Outsiders who want to enter the Chongshan area can only enter through the gate on the ground and register their personal information. Anyone who dares to violently break the formation is the enemy of Chongshan Academy. The white-robed man's eyebrows flashed with light, and his eyes flashed with blue light. Looking at the almost endless formation that stretched for thousands of miles, I was secretly surprised. This formation is indeed powerful. It seems that there must be a master in Chongshan Academy who is proficient in the formation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 845. Chapter 826, The Big Man in White Robe, The Power of the Mythical Beast. The big man in white robe examined the large formation in front of him. After a moment, a rich silvery white light gathered in his palm, and an indescribable sharpness spread out. Use your palm as a knife and draw forward. Chi la, the sound of tearing silk sounded. A big hole was cut out of the dense ban. Follow me, let's go in. The man in yellow robe responded, followed behind the big man in white robe, and flew in through the crack. After traveling no more than 100 miles, a stream of light came at lightning speed. He who comes is stopped. Following the thunderous shouts, a young warrior with a silver helmet, holding a spear, and riding a moon-watching rhinoceros appeared in front of the two of them. Why did you two forcefully break into my Chongshan territory? The man in yellow robe transmitted the message, Immortal Lord, this son is Gao Chong, the Spear King, one of the 3 kings of Chongshan. He studied under Qinzhong, the great sage Fuxian, the leader of the 16 immortals of Chongshan. He has extraordinary combat power. The spider immortal of Beifeng Mountain fell under his spear. The big man in white robe nodded with interest. On his centenary birthday, Beifeng Mountain spider immortal also visited. She was a charming beauty. More importantly, she had the cultivation of Tai true immortal. Although she was just a loose demon, her strength was not as strong as that of a deep-rooted person. He is a wealthy family, but his strength far exceeds that of Tai celestial immortal. This boy can kill the opponent with a spear using the cultivation level of Tai celestial immortal, which shows his extraordinary strength. You were defeated by his master and lost the Golden Spot Demon Kingdom. I am ashamed of myself. The man in yellow robe still felt fear in his heart when he thought of the figure holding a spear and looking cold and like a devil. His cultivation level was obviously 1 level lower than his, but his martial arts skills were incredibly strong. Gao Chong held a spear in his hand, his expression full of alertness. The cultivation level of the 2 people opposite him was far above him. The man in the yellow robe was a little worse, but he was still at the level of Tai Xianxian. But the man in white robe was full of magical power, like a vast ocean, with almost no edge visible. Activate the bronze mirror projection, and you can see a 90,000-foot white tiger above the white-robed man, majestic and imposing. Next to the man in yellow robe, there is a 70,000-foot golden leopard above his head, grinning and roaring silently. A white tiger and a golden leopard. Gao Chong no longer hesitated and moved his hands quickly. Boundary ceiling formation, rise. With a sudden shout, thick blue light pillars shot up into the sky in the distance. The face of the man in yellow robe changed greatly. Immortal Lord, we must not let him launch a grand formation, otherwise you and I will suffer big losses. It's just a small formation, don't worry about it. The big man in white robe waved his hand. The junior opposite, a certain family is Bai Changfeng from White Tiger City in 10,000 Beast Mountain. Please ask your elders to come out and see me. The superior tone and bossy attitude made Gao Chong feel disgusted. Just when he was about to rely on the power of the formation to resist 1 or 2 and prevent him from seeing the Chongshan disciples clearly, a familiar and gentle voice came to his ears. Looking back, the tense mood instantly relaxed. Master. Patting his shoulder, Su Junming turned his head. It turns out that the Changfeng Immortal Lord is here. The poor Taoist Su Junming greeted him at a distance. Although Su Junming's true body was in seclusion in the Hunyuan divine sect, he left several clones to refine elixirs, refine weapons, and manage Chongshan Academy. Therefore, when Bai Changfeng broke through the ceiling formation and broke in, he sensed it. Although Gao Chong was able to resist Bai Changfeng with the help of Deng Zhu's boundary ceiling formation, the difference in cultivation between the two sides was too great, and one careless move could result in serious injury. There is no need for a third-generation disciple to take such a big risk. Are you Su Junming, the president of Chongshan Academy? It's Pandeo. The strength is only so. His tone changed, and the momentum around him soared into the sky. The late-stage Tai Golden Immortal's mana surged like a tidal wave, overwhelming him. Who gave you the courage to slaughter my demon tribe members? Su Junming waved his sleeves, and the layers of space derivation, whether it was mana or other things, were swallowed up invisible by this space. Bai Changfeng's face changed slightly and he thought, what a superb Huishan cultivation. I am afraid that the immortal Lord has misunderstood. The demon tribe can thrive in our Chongshan territory as long as they abide by the laws and can come and go freely. There is no need to kill them. You humans are always good at showing off. The Golden Lord next to me is the master of the Golden Spotted Demon Kingdom, with millions of demon clans under his command. Now that your Chongshan Academy has swallowed up his country and destroyed his clan, how miserable it is. Su Junming turned his head. It turns out you are the Golden God Lord who escaped. For some reason, seeing the calm eyes of the other party, Jin Shenjun felt cold in his heart and became afraid involuntarily. Fortunately, the presence of Bai Changfeng beside him gave him a little more courage. It is this Lord of the Gods. Su Junming, you Chongshan Academy have gone against the grain and killed countless monsters. Today, the immortal Lord and I are going to plow the courtyard and sweep the holes to uproot you. Jin Shenjun's voice and look were both stern. Su Junming couldn't deny it and turned his eyes. Is this what the immortal Lord thinks too? Bai Changfeng frowned slightly. From the other party's eyes, he didn't see any fear at all, but instead showed a sense of confidence radiating from his bones. Don't he know the reputation of our White Tiger clan in 10,000 Beasts Mountain? Anyone whose hands are stained with the blood of my demon clan will be killed by this immortal lord. Su Junming nodded slightly. In that case, how about inviting the immortal lord to go to the top of the sky and let us have a showdown? The pride in the bones of the White Tiger clan did not allow him to refuse. Please. Please. The escape light flew up, and after leaving the formation, it quickly reached an altitude of 100,000 feet. The four of you, master and disciple, retreat 3,000 miles. Qinzhong, as well as the arriving Lion King Yetianyuan, Dragon King Wang Chao, and Gun King Gao Chong, responded respectfully and retreated 3,000 miles away. You should also step back. Jin Shenjun wanted to retreat far away, and quickly retreated after hearing this. The two faced each other thousands of feet apart. The strong wind blows the robes and makes a hunting sound. The long black hair was flying in the wind, and there was a hint of roughness in the mess. The invisible momentum spread out and soon turned into an overwhelming force. Gradually, the anger between the two became stronger and stronger. Roar! Along with the tiger's roar that overflowed with domineering power and shook the sky, a giant white tiger with a snow-white body and divine marks on its head appeared behind Bai Changfeng. Duh! Like thunder in the sky, a giant god with 12 heads and 24 arms appeared behind Su Junming. The momentum of the two men's battle reached its peak, with bursts of thunder in the air and strong winds, setting off a huge storm within a radius of thousands of miles. Cut! Bai Changfeng roared angrily and slashed with his right palm. The silver-white brilliance was like a volcano erupting, and it instantly became thousands of feet in size. Infinite sharp energy, with the domineering power to cut off the sea and divide the river, descended from the sky. The White Tiger clan is the inheritance of the sacred beasts that suppress the West. They are born with Gen metal supernatural powers, which are sharp and unrivaled, extremely hard and strong, and extremely soft and rigid. Looking at the infinite power and razor-sharp Zhengjin Qi, Su Junming took a breath. The clang of the sword shook the world. The sword energy transformed by a stream of qi and blood is like the Milky Way falling from the sky, vast and powerful, and like light and electricity. It was the innate magical power Pantuo divine sword that Su Junming understood. Chiang chiang chiang. The swords collided, and the sound of gold and iron rose to the sky. The 1,000-foot-long giant sword and the unparalleled blood sword seemed to be controlled by 2,000-foot-long giants, fighting fiercely together. Feeling the sharpness of the sword energy and the boundless power contained in it, the confidence in Bai Changfeng's heart was disappearing little by little. Originally, he thought that with his cultivation in the middle stage of Tai Golden Immortal, he could easily defeat an early Tai Xianxian monk. I never thought that the other party would actually pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. Under the cover of Tai Suingxian's magic power, it is the tyrannical energy and blood of the late martial arts general. The tyranny after turning the sword into blood is no worse than his Zhengjin divine light. After the inner strength is indistinguishable, the next step is the contest of skills. Gradually, the giant sword became more and more fierce, and the infinite shadow of the sword seemed to fill the sky with the autumn moon, covering the sky. The sword light of Pan Tuo divine sword is getting faster and faster, and the blood-red sword energy is like countless swimming fish, churning in the four seas. Bai Changfeng's expression became more solemn, because the opponent's sword skills were obviously superior to his. How can this be? Accompanied by the stormy sword energy, he felt more and more that his moves were a bit clumsy and difficult to parry. I don't believe your magic weapon is still above me. Tiger Soul Divine Sword. In an instant, a huge silver-white sword, about 2 feet long, appeared in his hand. 7 slashes against the wind. Swish, 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 7 stabs in a row. Boom. The 7 10,000-foot sword energy, like 7 giant mountains, rushed straight towards Su Junming with astonishing power. At this moment, the sword energy was more than 10 times stronger than before. Even Qin Zhong and others who were standing thousands of miles away felt stinging all over their bodies. Surprised by the power of this magical power, he also became worried about his master. Su Junming looked solemn. This was his first time facing a Tai Golden Immortal level master. Reach out and grab it. A long spear as thick as an goose egg appeared in his hand. The blood-red long tassel is as bright as fire. Pan Tuo Divine Spear. In addition to the Hunyuan Divine Sect, this is the second immortal weapon in his hand that has been refined to the highest level of immortal treasure. Mobilizing the energy and blood all over his body, Su Junming grasped the gun barrel tightly with both hands, facing the sword energy in the sky, and stabbed forward slowly but quickly. Infinite energy and blood burst out. Next moment, a blood-red spear, 10,000 feet long, like a pillar of heaven, condensed into shape. The powerful force of the gun made people feel in a trance, as if it was not a gun, but an ancient sacred mountain with a height of 100,000 feet. Light. Endless light exploded from the collision of swords and guns. Click. The earth-shattering sound shook thousands of miles. The scattered sword light and gun light were like a gathering storm, spreading crazily around. The huge movement and the shocking aftermath of the fight made Jin Zhenjun and Qin Zhong unable to wait and retreat. Roar. The huge roar of the tiger was earth-shattering. The sword flashed. Like a mountain of swords rolling up. Buzz. Like a thunderbolt, amidst the huge trembling sound, gun lights shot up into the sky. Choke choke choke. The fierce sound of gold and iron clashing, surging like a tide, and spreading energy for 3,000 miles, all showed that the battle between one man and one demon had entered a more intense stage. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 846. The sun rises and the moon sets, the heaven and the earth wax and wane. In the blink of an eye, 7 days have passed. Bai Changfeng held the natal tiger soul divine sword in his hand and stared at the figure thousands of feet away, with his back straightened and standing proudly like a green pine. His heavy breathing and disheveled hair reflected his embarrassment at the moment. After 7 days of fighting, there was not much mana left in the dantian. In comparison, the guy opposite was in much better shape. Damn bastard, how many pills does he have? Bai Changfeng roared in his heart. As an elder of the White Tiger clan, his net worth is definitely much richer than that of the ordinary Tai Golden Immortal, especially in terms of elixirs. But it's much worse than the guy opposite. In 7 days, the other party took almost twice as many elixirs as he did to replenish chi, blood, and mana. The stalemate cannot continue. The longer it takes, the less advantage he has in cultivation. Bai Changfeng put away the tiger soul divine sword, clasped his palms together, and the divine lines on his forehead glowed with a silver-white divine light. In an instant, a frightening aura became more solemn. Su Junming instantly sensed the danger. During these 7 days of fighting, he used Bai Changfeng as a whetstone. He quickly adapted to his soaring strength and squeezed out the potential of his innate chaotic energy more quickly. In just 7 days, his combat power and magic power reached a new level. If he can feel the danger now, Bai Changfeng's next Taoist method will definitely be extraordinary. Forget it. It's time to end this fight. With both hands forming a seal, the bronze mirror in the Danshan bloomed with mysterious light, and the invisible but substantial energy gradually condensed into a giant palm behind his back. Both sides prepare independently. The silver-white divine pattern on Bai Changfeng's head has turned into a small sun. The sharp light contains earth-shattering power. Next moment, the mouth is full of mysterious sounds. Great Sumurugan golden divine light. Boom! The sun exploded, and a brilliant silver-white divine light with a diameter of nearly 1,000 feet spread across the sky. Wherever it passed, the clouds were extinguished and the space was slightly broken. The momentum is so strong. Shocking. This moment, the divine palm behind Su Junming instantly turned from virtual to real. The extremely condensed divine palm has clear texture and has almost turned into substance. The halberd pointed forward, Swanyan was firm. Pantuo divine palm. The power of Pantuo divine palm, driven by the bronze mirror, increased hundreds of times. The mighty palm technique, with the overwhelming divine power to open up mountains and open up new territories, directly greeted him. The Jinshenjun who was watching the battle looked horrified and turned around and ran away without saying a word. Qin Zhong looked solemn. Rewind. With 3 disciples, he urged the celestial elephant gate to leave. The huge commotion during the 7-day battle attracted many onlookers. At this moment, they were like ants in a fried pot, retreating quickly. In an instant, heaven and earth were eclipsed by it. In an indescribable roar, the powerful aftermath struck in all directions with boundless force. Anyone who ran slowly was like a straw, being blown away by the aftermath. The majestic energy slowed down slightly after sweeping across the surrounding area for 100,000 miles, it did not begin to slowly disappear until 1,000,000 miles later. Jinshenjun looked at the place where the fight was taking place in a state of extreme embarrassment and despair. The power of the blow just now has reached the Deluo level. At the moment, Su Junming was wearing a strong green robe. Although he looked a little tired, his back was still straight. Opposite him, Bai Changfeng had disappeared. Several rays of light flew over. Master, that tiger demon ran. Run away, Qin Zhong said in surprise. He's not stupid. He can't beat him, so of course he has to run away. Su Junming looked at the west, his eyes twinkling. If he hadn't been concerned about the Deluo realm ancestor behind the White Tiger clan, he would have left Bai Changfeng here today. Go back, for a while, that guy won't come again. Yes. Su Junming took a step forward and disappeared instantly. Master, the patriarch is proficient in the Huishan escape technique. The white tiger was able to escape from his hands. His strength is really amazing, Yetianyun said. That's the ancient divine beast white tiger, and it's Tai golden immortal, so there's no doubt about its strength. Okay, go back and practice hard. After greeting the disciples to leave, the people watching the battle began to leave gradually. But the news that the head of Chongshan Academy fought against Bai Changfeng, the 5th elder of the White Tiger clan in Wanzhou Mountain, and finally won, quickly spread in the southern part of Nanzan continent. Many people secretly worked together to attack together and break the power of Chongshan Academy. After receiving the news, they were shocked and had to hibernate. Tai Golden Immortal. Although not as good as those aloof and legendary ancestors of the great Luo realm, but he is also a well-known power in the world of spiritual practice. One person can suppress the existence of a superior immortal sect or dynasty. There are such powerful people in Chongshan Academy. Except for those superpowers with the Luo realm, no one can take advantage of them. Wow! A mouthful of reverse blood spurted out. Bai Changfeng's pale face had a touch of blood. He opened his shirt and looked at the 3-inch blood-red palm print on his chest, with a hint of fear in his eyes. That final blow. The great Sumerugan golden divine light that he was bound to win was shattered inch by inch under the opponent's giant palm. If he hadn't used the life-saving jade talisman given by the ancestor of the clan in the end, he would have been turned into a pulp by its palm. Even so, he was seriously injured by the pouring palm energy. He had to use secret methods to escape. What kind of magical power is that, so powerful? Bai Changfeng thought with lingering fear. Suddenly, a jade pendant on the gold belt around his waist lit up. Bai Changfeng quickly took it off, and a trace of evil spirit entered. With a flash of light, the white jade transformed into an old man with a bright head wearing a white robe. Bai Changfeng meets the ancestor, Ancestor Jinan. Bai Changfeng knelt down and paid homage. Xiao Wu, why did the life-saving jade talisman I gave you break? Every jade talisman has its own spiritual consciousness and magic power. As long as it breaks into pieces, it can be felt instantly. Ancestor Mingjian, Xiao Wu received. Bai Changfeng was honest and received the report from Jin Shenjun about the wanton killing of demon tribesmen in Chongshan Academy. Then he came to pick a fight and wanted to clean the hole, but he was almost killed by the other party. He told the story again. Then the true lord of Chongshan, Su Junming, really only has the cultivation level of Tai Xianxian. I think he must have used some method to conceal his true cultivation. If not, Xiao Wu really can't think of any other treasure that would allow Tai Xianxian to break the life-saving jade charm given by his ancestor. The old man nodded. The life-saving jade talisman he personally practiced can withstand the full blow of the Luo Tianxian monk. That Su Junming was able to extinguish the great Sumerugan golden divine light, break the jade talisman, and the aftermath shocked Bai Changfeng, who was in the Tai golden immortal realm. His strength is definitely not that of Tai Xianxian. I know about this matter. You should go back to the ancestral land of 10,000 Beasts Mountain first, and don't provoke Chongshan Academy again. We will worry about everything after I come back. Changfeng obeys. After the old man nodded slightly, his figure disappeared instantly. A jade pendant fell into Bai Changfeng's hand. He took pills to heal his wounds, repaired himself briefly and then returned to 10,000 Beasts Mountain, not mentioning it at all. Far away in Hezhu, Xinyu, there is a Taoist temple with red walls and blue tiles deep in the majestic and handsome mountain, which looks like a dragon and a snake rising from the land, boundless, with old pines and bamboos. This Taoist temple occupies the top of the mountain and overlooks all directions. Amidst the white mist, there is a fairy spirit floating out of the dust. There are not many palaces and pavilions in the Taoist temple, but they are neatly laid out and the courtyards are kept clean. Under an old pine tree in the middle courtyard, a dozen figures who look like Taoism but not Taoism, look like Buddha but not Buddha are talking about Taoism. In the middle, a majestic middle-aged man wearing a yellow robe, with a slender face, 3 strands of beard on his chin, and a copper crown sits on the futon. His eyes turned. Fellow Taoist Bai has a trace of sadness on his face, but the old Taoist didn't treat him well this time. The old man wearing a white robe and long snow-white hair is the ancestor of the White Tiger clan who just talked to Bai Changfeng. The great immortal ceremony was thorough, and Bai was very moved. Those who are worried have other things. Oh! I wonder if the great immortal must have spoken about Chongshan Academy and its head, Chongshan True Lord Su Junming. Once this statement comes out, it means nothing to others. Sitting at the bottom was a bald old man with bare feet and a feather fan. Next to him was a middle-aged man wearing a ge robe and an unshaven beard, who looked like a beggar. His expression changed. True Lord Chongshan Su Junming, he shook his head and said, I've never heard of him. It can make fellow Taoist by worry, so he's not an ordinary person. This man does have some abilities. However, he killed our demon tribe too much. As the Lord of 10,000 Beast Mountain, the old man commands the hundreds of millions of demon tribes in the southern part of Nanzan continent. He has no choice but to come to ask for an explanation. The demon clan of Nanzan continent is respected by the White Tiger clan in the 10,000 Beasts Mountain and the Phoenix clan in the Shiwan Mountain in the north. The two sides are bounded by the Tongtian River, which runs across the continent in the south and stretches for hundreds of billions of miles. The demon clan on the back honors the Phoenix, the demon clan on the south honors the White Tiger. Now that the southern demon clan is being killed, of course it is the White Tiger clan who comes forward. The middle-aged man in yellow robe smiled faintly and turned his eyes. When they were talking about true monarch Chongshan just now, Li Yaoang and the barefoot immortal had different expressions on their faces. Do you think they know Taoist Su? Tai Guili and the barefoot immortal knew very well that the Zhenyuan immortal was a powerful remnant from ancient times who listened to the teachings in Zixiao Palace and was the same generation as the second patriarch of the three Qing dynasties and the Saint Nuwa. His cultivation reached heaven and earth, and he was revered as the ancestor of earthly immortals. Even though there is only one of his Dharma bodies in the earthly immortal world, he does not dare to neglect it at all. I would like to inform you, Great Immortal, that on our way here to listen, we encountered Su Junming, the true monarch of Chongshan, fighting with Moonlight Bodhisattva, one of the three deities in the Oriental glazed world. As soon as this statement came out, it immediately attracted a lot of attention. Moonlight Bodhisattva. Exactly. How does it end? Su Junming wins, Tai Guili said. So, this Su Junming is no longer a member of De Luo. Tai Guili nodded. Looking at it from the perspective of the two of us, we are not from De Luo. Haha, that's the case. Bai Daiyu can just come to the door and ask questions as soon as the capable disciples are punished. Why do you need to work hard? Bai Ying smiled bitterly. I'm not afraid of being laughed at by the immortal and all my colleagues. My disciple, Changfeng Immortal Lord, came to investigate. As a result, he fought for 7 days and was defeated. If it weren't for the life-saving jade talisman I gave him, he would have almost died. How can this be? Tai Guili and Barefoot Immortal looked in disbelief. They had seen with their own eyes that Su Junming, whose cultivation level was no higher than Tai Celestial Immortal, could defeat Moonlight Bodhisattva, which was already shocking to them. Now he can actually defeat the Changfeng Immortal Lord in the Tai Golden Immortal Realm, and almost kill it. This was beyond their expectations. But looking at what the White Tiger ancestor meant, it was obvious that he wasn't lying. So, this Taoist Su is really a wonderful person. He shook his head slightly. Forget it, after this sermon is over, I will accompany fellow Taoist Bai on a personal trip. Thank you so much, Immortal. Bai Ying cupped his hand. Although he was not very willing, he did not dare to brush Zhenyuan's golden face. Thanks to book friend Boring Zioxy for the 100 starting coin reward. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 847. Chapter 828, 7 Demon Kings swore. Choke. The fierce clash of gold and iron was deafening. Ye Tianyuan, Wang Chao, and Gao Chong stood aside and watched the battle. Uncle Sun's talent is too strong. He started later than us, but his strength is already on par with Master Gao Chong's side. If not, I won't be valued by Master Ye Tianyuan said. Wang Chao nodded in agreement. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. The two figures separated, revealing Qin Zhong, who was tall and holding a war spear, and Sun Shi, who was short and thin and looked like a monkey opposite. "Junior brother son, how about we stop here today? Hey, listen to senior brother." Qin Zhong smiled faintly, his heart moved, and the Qingtian war spear disappeared into his body. Sun Shi threw it casually, and the Qingshen Ruyi stick spun and disappeared into his right ear. Junior brother's talent in martial arts is really rare in his life. He has made progress after just 1 year. It's a pity that compared to senior brother's spear skills, it's still a bit inferior. How many years have I been like my junior brother, and I have accumulated some experience. But in the next few years, I will be surpassed by my junior brother. Elder brother, you are too modest. Master often says that your martial arts talent and perseverance are first class among the 3 branches of Chongshan martial arts. The 3 branches of Chongshan martial arts refer to Qin Zhong's branch, Yu He's branch, and Sun Shi's branch. All 3 branches practice martial arts, but their emphasis is different. Qin Zhong's lineage, including Ye Tianyuan, Wang Chao and Gao Chong, all followed the path of domination by fighting alone. The 4 sons of Yu He, Yu Xiang, Yu Fei, Yu Fan, Yu Tang, as well as the younger generations Yu Lei, Yu Ting, etc., although they also practice martial arts, they focus more on the way of generals. Each of them has an elite Taoist under his command. Soldiers. They rarely, or never, fight alone. Once they go into battle, large armies cross the border and attack in groups. In Sun Shi's lineage, there is only one Su Shilin. Unfortunately, this Lord Wenquxing didn't have much martial arts talent at all, so he had been practicing the Aoki way all along. In fact, if he had not formed a deep friendship with Su Xian, he would not have taken Su Shilin as his disciple. Master, 16th uncle. Ye Tianyuan and 3 others gathered around. Come here and join in the fun. Go and bring up the food. The 3 apprentices dispersed with a hula, and after a while, they brought several stone tables over. On the table are roasted golden whole beef, fragrant cooked mutton, and various meats. Although with the strength of the master and disciple, eating these ordinary meats is completely useless, it is still good to have a tooth ceremony and enjoy the fun of delicious food occasionally. Cultivation is a step-by-step process. It is always tense and easy to break. I have the opportunity to take my junior brother back to the world of Chongshan. There are more delicious food there, especially the mutton hot pot. It is a real pleasure, Qin Zhong said with a smile. This is what senior brother said, I'll just wait. Haha, okay. As he spoke, he picked up a large piece of mutton with chopsticks and put it into his mouth. Tasty. The earthly immortal world is rich in spiritual energy, and even the meat of ordinary beasts tastes extremely delicious. Sun Shi took a taste and was about to nod in agreement when his brows suddenly wrinkled. What's wrong? Qin Zhong observed the words and expressions. It's no big deal, let's eat. At this moment, the Dongsheng Divine Continent, which is hundreds of millions of miles away, comes to the water curtain cave of the flower and fruit mountain in the country. Sun Wukong sits high on the throne, with 3 monsters on each side. The first person on the left is a strong man with a bull head, 6 feet tall, wearing black armor, and has extraordinary courage. The first person on the right is a dragon-headed man, wearing blue dragon armor, tall and thin, with a powerful breath. The second person on the left has a body with a roc's head and is dressed in golden armor. The second person on the right has a body with a lion's head, is tall and majestic, and has extraordinary momentum. The third person on the left is a tall green-haired macaque, and the third person on the right is a slightly short and skinny golden-haired ape with strong bones. It is the Bull Demon King, the Jiao Demon King, the Peng Demon King, the Lion and Camel King, the Macaque King and the Tamarin King. Brothers, I'm going to be a host today and invite some of my brothers to get together here. We won't get home until we get drunk. Haha, if you don't get drunk, you won't get home. The 7 demons raised their glasses together and drank in one gulp. I think the 7 demon kings and I have similar minds and have known each other for many years. How about we become sworn brothers?" The bull demon king stood up and said. "He has the highest cultivation level, is heroic, and loves making friends the most. There are no less than 100 brothers in the 4 major continents of the earthly immortal realm. True acquaintances are broad and have friends all over the world. Brother Niu, this idea deeply touches my heart. I, the Dragon Demon King, am willing to sworn brothers with you all." "I do. I do too." A group of people immediately agreed. King Yu Tao frowned slightly and nodded. The current King Yumaran is no longer the King Yumaran in Kunwu Mountain back then, but the Dharma body that Sun Shi cut out with the help of the physical body of King Yumaran after practicing the 3-corpse Dharma body taught by Su Junming. Perhaps because he was naturally good at the magical power of clones, Sun Shi practiced the 3 corpses Dharma body very smoothly. In just 5 years, he was able to kill the Yutao King Dharma body. Then he was assigned by Su Junming to make friends with Sun Wukong from Huiguo Mountain, and then became familiar with the Bull Demon King, Peng Demon King, etc. The only thing that confused him was that from Sun Wukong, he often felt a sense of intimacy that was thicker than water. "Young men, place the incense table and fruits for me. Today I will sworn brothers," Sun Wukong gave the order. The monkeys moved upon hearing the sound and quickly set up the incense table. The 7 demons gathered earth into incense and worshipped the emperor and queen. As for the seating of tablets, it depends on the level of cultivation. The Bull Demon King Tai Xianxian is the leader. The late stage of Jiao Demon King Tai Xianxian came second. In the early stage of Peng Demon King Tai Xianxian, he was the 3rd child. Tai, the Lion and Camel King, is perfect and is the 4th child. The Macaque King, who was originally photographed in 5th place, was incarnated as the Umarmazet King, whose cultivation was not as good as Sun Shi's, and was ranked 6th. The youngest is still the Monkey King Sun Wukong, who has just advanced to the Tai realm. The 7 demon kings became sworn friends, and their relationship naturally became closer. They drank wine and ate meat, and feasted for 3 days. The demons were very drunk. Because Sun Shi remembered his master's instructions, he was more restrained than the other demons and did not really get drunk. Sudden ding bell, the ethereal ringing sounded in my ears. Sun Shi felt dizzy in his head and was about to fall into unconsciousness when suddenly the bronze mirror in his danchan shook, blocking out the ringing sound. The whole person wakes up. I thought to myself, what a weird ringtone. He didn't get up rashly, but quietly activated the bronze mirror to check the surroundings secretly. However, 2 tall and cold figures, one black and one white, ignored the formation in the water curtain cave and floated in like a cloud of smoke. Old Hey, the soul-catching bell given by the King of Hell is really powerful. It subdued these guys so easily. This is the great Luo Lingbao, and its power is naturally extraordinary. The black and white figure gradually became clear. Bai Vuchain glanced around and saw the magic bags on the waists of the Bull Demon King and others, and his eyes lit up instantly. Old Hey, this is a rare opportunity. After tens of thousands of years of friendship, he certainly knew what this brother was thinking. Lao Bai, before we came here, Lord Yama gave us many warnings not to let us get into trouble. Although the baby is good, if it makes Lord Hell angry, you and I will have to walk around without food. Thinking of the instructions given by the King of Hell when he came, Bai Vuchain was enlightened and his greed disappeared. Old Hey, if you hadn't reminded me, I would have almost lost a big thing because of a small thing. You and I, brothers, should help each other. Let's go. Black and white Vuchain walked up to Sun Wukong, waved his hands, and the soul-binding cord flew into its body. Hey, okay. Let's go. Black and white Vuchain tugged on the chain, and Sun Wukong's soul, which had almost turned into substance, flew out of his body. Floating, straight into the underworld. When the cold aura completely disappeared, Sun Shi opened his eyes. Looking around, everyone was asleep. Master is really clever. Spreading his left hand, 5 spiritual talismans, both virtual and real, appeared with divine patterns all over them. The auras in these 6 talismans were mysterious, and Sun Shi felt the auras of time, pot sky, soul, and seal, the 4 Taoist laws. The mystery of the restrictions inside amazed him even more. This is the talisman that the master gave him when he came. It's called the 4 Elephants Forbidden God Talisman. Anyone who is planted with this talisman will be quietly infected by Su Junming's will and become a loyal dog of Chongshan Academy. If you want to resist and remove the talisman, the restriction will be triggered immediately and you will be sealed instantly. Because it contains the magical functions of time and space, it is extremely difficult to discover unless you have reached the realm of Deluo Celestial Immortal or above, or possess a valuable treasure. Looking at the sleeping bull demon king and others. Brothers, I'm offended. With a wave of his left hand, 5 magic talismans flew into the bodies of the bull demon king, pen demon king, jiao demon king, lion camel king and macaque king. Only Sun Wukong was left out. Of course, this is also Su Junming's explanation. Although he is very confident in the 4 symbols Forbidden God talisman that he has painstakingly understood. But it is also uncertain whether Sun Wukong will be discovered by these 2 bosses in the future when he is imprisoned in Tai's Hanglejun's alchemy furnace and later faces Tathagata Buddha. It's better to do nothing than to be self-defeating. Looking at Sun Wukong, whose breath was weak and seemed to be dead, Sun Shi's eyes were complicated. When Black and White Vuchame took action to arrest the soul, he almost couldn't help but do it. Thanks to the calming power of the bronze mirror and the instructions from the master, it was able to endure it. Everything master said has indeed come true. I just don't know why I feel close to it. There is obviously no blood relationship between them. He shook his head, returned to his position and lay down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 848. Chapter 829, The Monkey King is making trouble in the underworld, and Junming is facing the heavenly palace. The black and white impermanence takes Sun Wukong's soul straight into the underworld. After passing the Gaiman Pass and Nahi Bridge, we came to the Hall of Yama in the City of Wasted Death. See Lord Yama, the soul of Sun Wukong has been brought here. King Yama, wearing a python robe and a flat-topped crown, sits high on it. What makes the 2 ghosts strange is that the merit officers on duty who usually stay around are not around. In the entire hall, except King Yama, there was no one else. Leave Sun Wukong's soul and soul calling bell behind, and you 2 can go down. Your order. After returning the soul catching bell, Black and White Vuchame left. King Yama waved his hand, and with a bang sound, the door closed, and peace returned to the Yama Palace. The next moment, the air on the left side of the hall suddenly shook. A monk holding a rosary in his right hand and sitting cross-legged on a 1,000-leaf green lotus, his figure changed from illusion to reality. Amitabha. After chanting the Buddha's name, the faint Buddha's light dispersed the extremely dense yin energy in the hall. King Yama frowned and didn't say much. Ksitagarbha, Sun Wukong has been brought here. Just do what you want to do. Ksitagarbha looked at the soul of Sun Wukong lying on the ground and turned his head. Fellow Taoist, this poor monk has something here, please appreciate it. As soon as he finished speaking, a little starlight flew out of his sleeve, slowly came to King Yama, and turned into a jade box. With doubts, King Yama took off the sealing talisman on it, opened it, and looked excited. Teishu innate spiritual energy. This is the highest quality innate spiritual energy that was born when the world first opened. It can be used for cultivation or refining natal spiritual treasures to get twice the result with half the effort. However, as the world continues to evolve, and nature evolves into nurture, this kind of spiritual energy becomes increasingly rare. Except for a few top sects, it is rarely seen. There are 3 ways of Taoist's innate spiritual energy in this jade box. For King Yama of Tai Golden Immortal level, it is of great use. But after hundreds of millions of years of cultivation, he is not a fool. He still understands the principle that people must ask for something if they are polite. He took a breath and calmed down. What does Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva mean? It's actually very simple. All you need is King Yama to perform a play, and then ask the monkey to check off all the names of the monkey genus in the Book of Life and Death. King Yama's expression changed. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, you should understand that tampering with the Book of Life and Death without permission is a serious crime. Amitabha, to others it is a serious crime, but to fellow Taoists it is just a matter of writing. I believe this trivial matter will not alarm Empress Pingxin. King Yama's expression changed. With his power, changing the Book of Life and Death was not a big deal. But if you change too much at once, you need to weigh it carefully. Looking at the jade box on the table, the greed in my heart gradually took over. Taoist's innate aura was too important to him. With these 3 auras, he would be 20% more sure of breaking through to the Great Ludo realm in the future. I can only change the monkey clan in Huiguo Mountain, not the ones in other places. Ksatagarbha smiled faintly. Everything is as the King of Hell said. But after everything is over, the King of Hell still needs to go to heaven to file a complaint. Now that he had agreed to the first thing and the little thing behind, he didn't hesitate anymore and agreed straight away. The king knows. After reaching an agreement, Ksatagarbha slowly disappeared. King Yama put away the jade box, and with a thought in his heart, dozens of figures flew out of his body. Transformed into black and white, an ox's head and a horse's face, as well as left and right judges. The next scene is the classic scene in Journey to the West, where Sun Wukong causes havoc in the underworld. Looking at this incomprehensible throat, he held a pen and scratched the Book of Life and Death messily as if graffiti. King Yama trembled all over and turned his head. He was afraid that if he continued to watch, he would slap the bastard monkey to death. Old King of Hell, why don't you have the names of my 6 sworn brothers in your Book of Life and Death? King Yama took a slight breath and turned his head with a flattering look on his face. My Book of Life and Death only records the names and lifespans of immortals who have not yet been revealed. The king's brothers have all become immortals. The souls of the earth have long since returned to their original bodies, so they are not in this Book of Life and Death. I see, but I've become an immortal too. Why did you hook me here too? Misunderstanding, misunderstanding, it's all because of the incompetence of my subordinates that led to the king being lured here. That's fine. He threw away the judge's pen. I've marked off all the monkeys. If someone dies in our Huiguo mountain in the future, Lao Sun will talk to you about it. Don't worry, Your Majesty, there won't be any mistakes. It's best this way. The old grandson, will go. His figure was like lightning, and he fled straight out of the hall. With a flick of his finger, King Yama released the restrictions in the hall and allowed Sun Wukong to fly out. After secretly instructing all the ghosts and gods not to stop him, he breathed a sigh of relief, waved his sleeves, and took back all the clones. The Yama Hall, which had been in a mess, also returned to calm. Straighten the crown of the sky. Fortunately, they are all clones, otherwise my old face would be completely disgraced if the matter spread. In the heavenly realm, Lianji Dangmo Zhenjun's immortal mansion. Beside the lotus pond in the backyard, Ren Wuji was sitting cross-legged on the blue stone. Next to him, Su Junming was leaning on a white cloud, with his eyes slightly closed and his demeanor calm. If you don't practice hard in Hunyuan Zhenmen, why do you come to me? Sun Wukong took away the golden cudgel and made a big fuss in the underworld. As expected, Bei Jinxing summoned him from the lower realm as Bima Wen. By then, the eyes of both Buddhism and Taoism will be focused on heaven. How can I do this in such a lively time? Can you come? I thought you were thinking about the Queen Mother's peach garden. Unless we can move the whole thing, it won't be of much use to us. The 1,200 green striped flat peaches in the flat peach garden are just yin and yang immortal roots. The 1,200 red striped flat peaches are Tai's lower grade immortal roots, and the 1,200 purple striped flat peaches that mature once every 9,000 years are Tai's top grade peaches. Immortal root. Although there are a lot of them, if you pull them out individually, even if they are purple striped flat peaches, there are a few in Su Junming's creation Spirit Island. Unless you can destroy Heavenly Court, it's better not to take advantage of Pantao Yuan. Ren Wuji rolled his eyes. Pantao Yuan is where the spiritual cardinals of the entire heaven are located, and it has a very important relationship. Those who guard the peach garden are all trusted by the Queen Mother. Not to mention moving them all, even losing a few plants is like stirring up a hornet's nest, causing countless troubles. Taking care of Pantao Yuan does not mean moving it. Looking at Ren Wuji's questioning eyes, Su Junming smiled and said, although I don't know what kind of deal was reached between Buddhism and the Jade Emperor, and they actually allowed Sun Wukong to eat all the peaches in the garden, but taking this opportunity to share the profits is not what a difficult thing. With this batch of spiritual peaches as the main medicine and the refining of a batch of elixirs, the strength of our Chongshan Academy will surely reach a higher level, adding a layer of foundation for the future occupation of Nanzan continent. Ren Wuji touched his chin. As long as Tao Zi is there, it will be easy. I believe big guys like the Jade Emperor and Queen Mother, Tai's Hanglejun will not pay attention to it all the time. After saying this, his eyes lit up. You can also go to Tashita Palace for a walk. His fundamental Taoist method is Yin-Yang Tai Chi, which is the same as Tai's Hanglejun's Taoist method. If you can get some training notes and the like from Tashita Palace, it will be of great help to your own path. If you want to go, go by yourself. I don't want to die with you. Su Junming rolled his eyes. Although Tai's Hanglejun in the earthly immortal realm is just a clone with the realm of Deluo true immortal, not the true saint of taking Taoist. Even so, he did not dare to speculate on the power of a strong man of this level. Moreover, Tashita Palace is the dojo of Tai's Hanglejun. After entering, you can leave safely and unharmed. How stupid you are to have such an idea. As for himself and others, if someone enters his Chongshan residence, he can sense it instantly. The dojo is the fundamental place for monks. Being denied by him, Ren Wuji felt like a defeated rooster, and instantly succumbed. What a shame. A slap in the face. What a shame, use your brain. You can't peek into the secrets without going in. Ren Wuji thought for a moment and his eyes lit up. You mean? Bronze mirror. After all, I'm not stupid enough. Thinking of this mirror that has been with him since he entered the Tao, always shrouded in mystery, and even chaos can be seen through, Ren Wuji's eyes became brighter and brighter. Yes, how could I forget this? We can see everything inside without going to Tashita Palace. Ren Wuji palmed his fist with an excited expression. Moreover, Tai's Hanglejun is not a saint after all, and he cannot detect the divine light of the bronze mirror. Su Junming shook his head slightly. Be careful in everything, don't watch it when he is at home. Ren Wuji nodded, is this why you're here? I want to see his gossip furnace. As his cultivation continues to improve, the Tiangong divine furnace of the middle grade innate spiritual treasure level is still sufficient. But in the future, when he breaks through to the great Luo realm, the Tiangong divine furnace will not be enough. Moreover, the Chongshan world at that time was definitely not up to the standard of advancing to the Great Thousand World, and Su Junming could not wait forever. Therefore, re-sacrifice a new Tiangong divine furnace is the only option. The best alchemy furnace in the earthly immortal world is Tai's Hangla Jun's Yin Yang Bagua furnace. Although it is definitely not as good as the Bagua furnace in the hands of the deity-taking saint, for Su Junming now, it is enough for reference. In addition, he also wanted to borrow Sun Wukong's hand to take a few golden elixirs from Tushita Palace to gain enlightenment. You really should study it carefully. But I have also discovered a lot of good things in heaven over the years. Oh. Hey, follow my gaze. Ren Wuji activated the bronze mirror projection and looked into the distance. Su Junming followed him, and two invisible rays of light crossed the sky and arrived at a magnificent palace complex. There are many palaces and maidens inside, and they are heavily guarded. It is obviously a place of heaven. However, Su Junming keenly discovered that the decoration style in the palace here was obviously more feminine. What is this place? The beautiful scenery of Yaokai, where the Queen Mother lives? Su Junming was confused. Second brother, you don't know how to. Ren Wuji understood instantly and became furious. Go away, even if the second master wants a woman, he will not look down on this kind of old woman. Su Junming shrugged and said nothing more. Really, what a look. As handsome as I am, at least I am worthy of a beauty like Chang'e. The person who muttered to himself kept looking deeper and deeper, and soon came to the depths of Yaokai. Passing through the vast lotus lake, a gorgeous three-story loft appeared in the center. The first floor of the attic is for entertaining guests, the second floor is for entertainment, and the third floor is for practicing. At this moment, in the reception room, a graceful middle-aged woman wearing a golden dress was sitting high. Below, a slightly fat general wearing golden armor, with an extraordinary aura, was saying something respectfully. The middle-aged woman is the Queen Mother, and the golden armor general is the famous Tianpeng Marshal Zhu Gangli, who is in charge of 100,000 Tianhe navy. He is Zhu Beiji. He is a Yuan Yang golden immortal and has extraordinary cultivation. He seems to be a close minister of the Queen Mother, Su Junming said. Ren Wuji nodded and said, this guy is completely different from the lazy Zhu Beiji in Journey to the West. It's normal. This guy is a smart man. Since he knows that he can get to Lingshan by pretending to be stupid, why bother to risk it? Anyway, if something happens, someone will come to save him. If he has this free time, he can drink and eat, tease and flirt with the female goblin. Isn't it better? Su Junming smiled. Sun Hao is fighting hard because he is too stubborn at heart. I just don't know if this old monkey will still fight tooth and nail to protect Tang Monk after you change his soul. Who knows? After listening to the Queen Mother's words, Su Junming quickly lost interest. Where is the treasure you mentioned? Third floor. The mirror light moves to the third floor, which is a clean and tidy retreat room with simple decoration. It can be seen that nothing here is ordinary. When Su Junming saw a landscape painting hanging on the wall, he was so shocked that he blurted out. Mountains and rivers and the country's map. No, this is just an imitation. According to rumors, the mountains and rivers Shiji map was an innate spiritual treasure given to Nuwa by Taoist ancestor Hung Jun. This map of mountains and rivers is obviously just an acquired treasure, and of course it cannot be the saint's magic weapon. Even so, it is indeed a rare great spiritual treasure. Deluo Lingbao is more precious than Tai immortal treasure, and it is also divided into 4 levels, top grade, middle grade, and low grade. This map of mountains and rivers is a middle grade Deluo Lingbao. Soon Su Junming discovered that this map of mountains, rivers, and the country contained inner space. After the mirror light penetrated deeply, a Zhongqian world no smaller than Chongshan world appeared in front of us. In a world of 300 billion miles, there are deserts, grasslands, forests, and seas, and all kinds of landforms. It's a whole world altogether. But there are no traces of humans or demons in it. Thanks to the book Friend Boring Zioxy for the reward of 100 starting coins, become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes author, Dong Ren. Chapter 849. In this giant world of imitations of the Zhongshan Shiji map, there is strong aura and rich vegetation. The amount of medicinal energy steaming in the vast expanse is 10 times greater than that in the Creation Spirit Island. What is particularly eye-catching is a giant peach tree that is thousands of feet tall and looks like a mountain. The vast spiritual light spread out and enveloped the surrounding area for 30,000 miles. The prosperity of the weather was almost unprecedented in Su Junming's life. High-quality innate spiritual roots. Ren Wuji nodded. The 3,600 peaches in the peach garden are all its descendants. After calming down the shock in his heart, Su Junming sighed. It's a pity that it didn't work out. If it turns out, it will be difficult to take action. Su Junming turned his head. You want to steal this flat peach? No, it's a replica of the picture of Zhongshan Shiji. This Zhongqian world is extremely vast. If it can be integrated into the Zhongshan world, it will not only double the area and greatly shorten the time to advance to the Great Thousand World, but it will also be 600 billion miles away and can accommodate Tai Xianxian. As for the flat peach, it is the destiny of heaven and the spiritual root of the earthly immortal world. Unless we can destroy heaven, disturbing it will only bring big trouble. However, it is still possible to cut off the main branch. The mystery of the creation of the spiritual pool is enough to grow a top-grade Tai immortal root. Although its efficacy is slightly inferior to this innate spiritual root, it is still a rare treasure. Su Junming nodded. It seems you are still sane. Ren Wuji rolled his eyes. I've always been sober. But it's up to you to take action. I'm not proficient in space methods. After Su Junming nodded, he looked at the Zhongshan Shiji map in the Yaokai thousands of miles away. Let's wait until Sun Wukong causes trouble in the heavenly palace before taking action. At that time, all the attention will be on him, and it will be easier for us to take action. Ren Wuji nodded and patted the gourd on his waist. Hundreds of jade slips flew towards Su Junming. This is the last batch of letters in Linlang Pavilion, please put them away. Linlang Pavilion is the library of heaven, which contains all the books collected by heaven over millions of years since its establishment. There are tens of millions of copies. There are all kinds of exercises, prescriptions for elixirs, prescriptions for utensils, records of spiritual beasts, records of rare objects, local records, etc. Although there are not many profound ones among them, they are more comprehensive than others. Ren Wuji stayed in heaven for 400 years before transcribing them all with the help of a bronze mirror. It is precisely with the support of this collection of books that Su Junming can continue to produce the Tai chapter of the Zhongshan Yuanyang scripture, the general chapter of the Panhuang scripture, and various Tai level elixirs. If it were not for the lack of cultivation, the techniques of the Deluo Heavenly Immortal and Deluo True Immortal realms could also be deduced. He simply looked at it and put the technique away. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, 3 mighty bells sounded. Looking at Su Junming's questioning eyes. This is the bell that the Jade Emperor is anxious to discuss with the immortals. He said and stood up. You want to go? I forgot about it before, but this time it probably has something to do with Sun Wukong. I'll go take a look. Su Junming stood up with interest. I'll go with you. With a flash of light, he used the magical power of space compression to turn himself into the size of dust and flew into Ren Wuji's hair. The two of them fled together towards the place where the bell sounded. Lingxiao Palace, the core place of heaven. It is also the place where the Jade Emperor summoned the immortals. After hearing the bell, countless streams of light came rushing towards me. The Lingxiao Palace is extremely majestic, filled with light and surrounded by auspicious clouds. 9 huge dragon pillars support thousands of acres of space. In the center of the front, the Jade Emperor with a majestic face, Zhozangdan, with 3 strands of long beard on his chin, a flat crown on his head, and a 9-dragon robe, sits high on it. The immortal officials below stood in their respective positions according to their grades. In the absence of Lejun, the civil servants on the left were led by the four great heavenly masters Zhang, Ge, Su, and Sa, as well as Taibei Jinxing. The generals on the right, Li Jing, the king of the tower, the third prince Neza, Wang Lingguan, etc. stood in sequence. Renwuji's official position is Lianji Dangmo Zhenjun, with a third-rank official title. He has no actual position and can only stand in the third row. There are many idol gods like him in heaven. Most of them are casual cultivators who are greedy for the rich spiritual energy in heaven, but are unwilling to fight all day long. After finding a random place to stand. Not long time. The whip cracked 3 times, and the court meeting began. The Jade Emperor sat high on his head, glanced over the immortals, and took a slight breath. Ao Guang, the Dragon King of the East China Sea, and King Yama of the underworld reported to the heavenly court recently, saying that a demon monkey was born in the water curtain cave in the Huiguo mountain of the East China Sea Ala Kingdom. He took away the Dragon Palace's treasures and privately changed the Book of Life and Death. He requested the Heavenly Palace to send troops to arrest him. It's just that I don't know when this monster monkey was born, when did he practice Taoism, and when did he actually have such magical power. After hearing this, those who knew the inside story, such as the 4 heavenly masters, exchanged glances and remained silent. People who don't know the inside story are either not very advanced or have just entered the heaven. But they are well versed in the way of protecting themselves. They know very well that monsters that can make the Dragon Palace and the underworld crippled cannot be dealt with by themselves, so it is better to keep silent. If the task of exorcising demons fell on me, wouldn't it mean that I would die? For a moment, the Lingxiao Palace became strangely calm. Fortunately, everything has been arranged in advance. Clairvoyant and Shunfeng Er walked out of the shift and said respectfully, "Your Majesty, this monster monkey is a stone monkey born 380 years ago. I didn't think so at the time, but I don't know where he cultivated to become an immortal, and he actually has such a Taoist behavior." The Jade Emperor understood and then looked around. Which god would be willing to go down to the lower realm and subdue this monster? Taibei Jinxing's eyes flashed and he stepped out. "Your Majesty, anyone with 9 orifices in the 3 realms can cultivate and become an immortal. This monkey is a body nurtured by heaven and earth, conceived by the sun and the moon. It also supports the sky and walks on the earth, obeying the dewy sky. Now it has cultivated the immortal way and has the ability to subdue dragons and tigers. How is it different from humans? Sure, I think that we can think of the compassion and kindness of the incarnations of heaven and earth, send an imperial edict to bring peace to it, announce it to the upper world, grant it a big or small official position, enter it in the immortal book, and restrain it. If it can obey the destiny of heaven, then it can be the reward will be high. If you violate the destiny, you will be captured. In this way, firstly, we will not have to work hard, secondly, we will receive immortals in a proper way, and thirdly, we will show your Majesty's benevolence." A faint smile appeared on the Jade Emperor's face. "What the Qing family says is true, so just follow what you say. Where is Mr. Wenquxing?" Su Shilin stepped out. Although his cultivation level has just reached Yuan Yang Xianxian, his level of immortality is still at the 2nd level, which is much stronger than Renwuji. "I'm here. I order you to prepare an edict and deliver it to Zhaoan in the lower realm of Taibaijian Star. I obey the decree. If you have something to do, please retreat." Zhang Daoling, one of the 4 great heavenly masters, stood out from the crowd. "Your Majesty, I am beginning to tell you that the Peach Festival will be held in another 100 years. I would like to ask your Majesty to issue an edict, who should be chosen to organize it. Let the Queen Mother decide this matter. I obey the decree." All experienced immortals know that everything in the Pantao society is decided by the Queen Mother, but as long as they are not fools, they will ask the Jade Emperor beforehand. Zhang Daoling returned to the train, and when no one came out from behind, he announced that the tide was ebbing. The Jade Emperor built the Lingxiao Palace and returned to the Palace of the Sun, where he always lived, overlooking the vast heavenly palace with a gloomy expression. Everyone in the world thought that as the Jade Emperor, he had great power and was in charge of the immortals. But only he knows that he is just a puppet supported by Buddhism and Taoism. All major matters concerning the three realms are decided by Tai's Hanglajun and the Buddha, who is far away in Dalian Temple. All he can take care of are some trivial matters. It's not that there were no emperors who wanted to resist, but they all died miserably. Above him, the heavenly emperor of the upper realm was directly beheaded by Xin Tian. Chowing Sun Wukong this time, and even naming him by Mawen, were things that Buddhism had decided long ago. It was just announced after borrowing him. After staring for a while, the Jade Emperor took out a black lotus from his bag. The condensed demonic energy inside is frightening. He frowned slightly, and after pondering for a while, he put it away again. Although the demonic way is a considerable force, it is not enough to resist the behemoth Buddha and Taoism. Moreover, the recurrence of demonic nature is a double-edged sword. If you are not prepared, you can easily hurt yourself. Now is not the time. A ray of golden light passed through the sky. Not long after, a boundless silver-white river appeared in the distance, spanning the entire sky. The river is 100,000 miles wide, with turbulent waves. The vast water vapor fills the sky and the earth, boundless. It is the largest river in the fairy world. Tianhe. There are millions of Tianhe water troops stationed in Tianhe. The leader of this naval force is Zhu Gangli, the extremely prominent Marshal Tianpeng in today's court. The golden light fell into a huge military camp. Wearing golden armor, he is tall and strong, with a majestic appearance. There is a steel needle on his chin like a big man with a short beard, showing his figure. Marshal. When the soldiers patrolling around saw it, they quickly came forward to greet him. During my absence, is there anything strange in Tianhe? Come back to Marshal, except that Mr. Shui Dexing is here to collect water. There is nothing unusual about it. Zhu Gangli nodded. The water vapor in the Tianhe River is rich, making it a blessed place for monks who practice water and wood in the world. The role of their Tianhe water army is to protect the Tianhe and prevent those wild immortals from stealing the true water of the Tianhe. Maintain the balance of the five elements in the fairy world. Stepping into the camp, the surrounding heavenly soldiers saw him and greeted him respectfully. It didn't take long before I walked into a magnificent hall. Above the hall, the three characters Marshal's mansion in regular script shone with golden light. After striding into the backyard, several maids in charge of sweeping the place quickly bent down and saluted. "See Marshal. I want to rest, you all, please go down." Yes. He arrived at the quiet room in the backyard, activated the forbidden method to seal the room, and patted the magic bag on his waist. A bronze mirror with flashing light slowly flew out. With a flick of his finger, the bronze mirror shook and instantly became 3 feet in size. The clear brass mirror allows light to be discerned. Zhu Gangli sat cross-legged on the futon, his hands flying in seals. Duh. The mouth is full of mysterious sounds. A ray of spiritual light flew into the bronze mirror, like water droplets in a pond. After a moment, an old monk wearing a blue monk's robe gradually became clear. After everything was stable, Zhu Gangli bowed and saluted. "Teacher who is strong will live forever. No need to be polite, just get up." "Yes." Zhu Gangli stood up straight. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 850. Chapter 831, Marshal Tianpengji drives by Maan. "What do you want from me?" "Teacher, just now the Queen Mother went to Yaokai to find me, saying she wanted to betroth Xiao Qi to me as my wife." "Zioki." Zhu Gangli explained quickly. She is the seventh daughter Ziyi among the 7 fairies born to the Queen Mother. You agreed, the old monk said calmly. How dare I agree without the teacher's permission? Then reject it? In the future, you will be my Buddhist sect, with a respected status and cannot be burdened by love, at least for 1,000 years. Disciple, obey. However, there is something you need to do as a teacher. Please give me your instructions. The demon monkey causing trouble in the lower realm will soon come to heaven to serve as Baimawen. After he has served for 13 years, go to the royal horse prison, taunt him with words, and let him go down to the lower realm on his own. Teacher, if that monster monkey can make trouble in the East China Sea and mess up the underworld, he must be a person from the Tai realm. The disciple's cultivation is not as good as that of the Yuan Yang Golden Immortal. If you use words to ridicule, if the trouble makes the monkey's nature. The old monk waved his left hand, and a spiritual talisman with rich Buddhist light flew out of the mirror. This is the Vajra amulet that I personally practiced. Even Tai Golden Immortal can't break it, so don't worry. Zhu Gangli held the golden talisman in his hand and was filled with joy. Thank you very much, teacher. I will let the monster monkey descend to the realm on time. After this is accomplished, I will give you 3 Fawa golden pills. With the help of these pills, you will have hope of breaking through the Tai realm. Zhu Gangli was overjoyed. Teacher, don't worry, even if Zhu Gangli is shattered to pieces, he will let Baimawen get out of here in 13 years. That's good. As the words fell, the water mirror rippled, and the figure of the old monk gradually disappeared. Thousands of miles away, Su Junming and Renwuji, who had returned to the palace of the demon lord Lianguidang, saw a scene in the Tianhe water palace. Isn't it rumored that Zhu Gangli is not a disciple of the human cult? Renwuji said in surprise. Huiza 36 Tiangang is not necessarily a disciple of the human cult. And if he is really a disciple of the human cult, how can he go back to Buddhism to be a purifying altar messenger? Sakyamuni is not stupid. How could he let someone from the Qin dynasty, Muchu, etc. sneak in? The Buddhist team. Renwuji nodded in agreement and changed the topic. But why did the Queen Mother want to marry the 7th fairy to him? Left and right are just internal struggles in heaven. Since the creation of the earthly immortal realm, the Emperor of Heaven has changed 3 times. The first Huangdi ascended to immortality, and the second Taihao was beheaded by Xin Tian. The Jade Emperor of the Third Realm has been the Emperor of Heaven for 100,000 years. It's really the Emperor's turn to do it. Come to my house next year. In contrast, the position of the Queen Mother is as stable as Mount Tai. From the time of the Yellow Emperor to the present, it has never changed for millions of years. However, the Queen Mother is not the legendary Queen Mother of the West who sat firmly in West Kunlun, but one of the 100 concubines of the Yellow Emperor. No one remembers her original name. She is only called Queen Mother. The fairies in heaven are all under the jurisdiction of the Queen Mother. Compared to the Jade Emperor who managed the male immortals, the Queen Mother was more powerful. Coupled with her status as the Yellow Emperor's concubine, her weight in heaven was greater than that of the Jade Emperor. The Peach Festival held once every 1,000 years has spread the Queen Mother's network all over the world. As for the 7 fairies, they were not born from the Queen Mother, but one day when the Queen Mother attained enlightenment in the Yaokai, the 7 jade lotuses from the Yaokai were infected by the chi of her breaking through the realm and transformed into human beings. She was recognized as her daughter by the Queen Mother. Su Junming stood up. Where to go? Go out for a walk. It's a rare time to come to heaven and look around. Be careful, don't get discovered. With the help of the bronze mirror, even if the Supreme Lord is in front of him, he won't be able to detect it. Renwuji nodded. After all, Tai's Hanglajun is just a clone and not the true self of Taoist taking. The magic of the bronze mirror was even insurmountable by Sakyamuni, and of course it could stop him. Su Junming, who wanders around the heaven in his avatar, is still under the jurisdiction of Chongshan Academy in Nanzan Buzhu. Boom! In the sacred mountain outside the sky, the thunder is mighty. The ultimate immortal treasure tribulation is 72 crimson Tai thunders. Su Junming stood with his hands behind his back, and in mid-air, thunder struck down like lava falling from the sky. It was so powerful that he had only seen it in his life. However, he has always had a solid foundation in refining treasures, and his failure rate in surviving the catastrophe is very low. What's more, it's the immortal treasure that will overcome the tribulation this time. Boom, click. The dragon snake-like crimson Tai thunder beats endlessly. But that majestic stone gate, like a powerful sacred mountain left over from ancient times, still stands tall despite the mighty thunder. One after another, accompanied by bursts of ghostly cries and howls, a huge thunder eye with a diameter of 30,000 feet appeared in the mid-air shrouded by black clouds. The extremely rich Tai Lei is no longer violent, but instead looks like a deep pool of water hanging high in the sky. The color is also much deeper. Su Junming's expression was solemn. He knew that it was thunder water that was condensed to the extreme, and its power would be even more amazing. The last one. Before his thoughts fell, the howling wind between heaven and earth suddenly disappeared. The turbulent clouds also became quiet at this moment. Time and space seemed to have stopped at this moment. Sudden. The sky and the earth were a deep red. The blood-like light suppressed the sunlight. The stone gate, which was 10,000 feet high and comparable to the ancient sacred mountain, also disappeared in an instant. Boom! Then there was a loud noise like the beginning of the world. Immediately afterwards, a rolling storm, like a huge rolling wave, traveled across the sky and the earth, sweeping thousands of miles away. Seeing the shimmering light in front of him, as if the shield was broken at any time, Su Junming frowned, surprised by the tyranny of this thunder method. Even if it's just the aftermath, it's still so tyrannical. After everything cleared up, a majestic divine gate appeared in the sky. Although it was a little damaged, most of it was intact, and he breathed a sigh of relief. The face also showed joy. It's finally over. The dark clouds in the sky turned into vast auras of creation, rolling down. After absorbing this powerful force of creation, the damage to the great gate was quickly repaired, and its size continued to expand, exceeding 30,000 feet in the blink of an eye. The vast four-color divine light bloomed from the divine gate. It lasted for half an hour before slowly calming down. The sky also returned to calm again. Su Junming looked happy and stretched out his hand. The magnificent stone gate shrank in an instant and turned into a four-color aura, flying in front of Su Junming. The entire stone gate is made of blue-gray rocks, with one rock as the roof, two rocks as pillars, and one rock as the support. In the middle is a heavy stone door. There are divine patterns on the front and back of the stone gate, totaling 4 in total. One is azure, exuding the charm of space. One is made of crystal color, exuding the charm of time. One is made of mysterious black color, exuding the charm of the soul. The last one is old yellow, exuding the charm of sealing Deo. There are also 2 divine patterns on the lintel. They have no Taoist charm, but they convey an aura of mixing the universe and integrating heaven and earth. A ray of light flew towards him and turned into the figure of true Lord Tai after falling. The ultimate immortal treasure. Certainly. Now, it's not certain that Fifth Master will break through to the Great Luo realm, but it's almost there. There was a pause. But if you integrate Hunyuan, celestial phenomenon, Ksitagarba, and human soul divine sect into one, is it really good? Are you worried that the inner disciples will reveal the magical function of Hunyuan Genman's time? Tai Genjun nodded. After all, the inner disciples are not direct descendants. They have flaws in their character and can easily be taken advantage of by the enemy. Don't worry. I have set a seal on it, and non-direct disciples cannot use it. Unless someone's cultivation in the seal path exceeds mine, it will be broken. Tathagata's cultivation on the sealed path is not low. Su Junming is naturally aware of the reputation of the tight curse. That's why you have to seize the time to practice. Tai Genjun curled his lips, I am already Tai Golden Immortal. In front of Tathagata, only the Deluo realm is worthy of being an opponent, and you are still far behind. He reached out and pointed at the Hunyuan divine gate, and the powerful four-colored divine light pinched True Lord Tai. Hey, it's not enough to go too far. Let me rest for a few more days. You've been off for a month. Having said that, he ignored True Lord Tai and watched him disappear into the Hunyuan divine sect. After doing this, his body plummeted. Soon we arrived at the top of Chongshan Mountain. The Huangzhong plum that was once 10 feet tall has grown to 3 feet tall 400 years later. The surrounding 9 feet are shrouded in traces of acquired chaotic aura. Thanks to its continuous growth, the innate spiritual energy it spits out every moment has increased 10 times more than before. The richness of spiritual energy is also the reason why the Hunyuan divine sect can be refined so quickly. With a move of his hand, the Hunyuan divine gate slowly fell. Slower and slower, slower and slower, gradually colliding with the acquired chaotic aura. Choke sounded like the sound of gold and iron clashing. With a flick of a finger, Hunyuan Genman put away a trace of acquired chaotic energy and rose rapidly. Su Junming changed his finger skills, and the 4 divine patterns on the divine gate bloomed with brilliance. It took a long time before the trace of acquired chaotic energy was completely refined. Estimated the time. Shaked his head. It's still too reluctant. At least you have to become a Deluo Lingbao before you can fully withstand the violent power of the acquired chaotic aura. With a casual wave of his hand, the Hunyuan divine gate shot up 3 feet and was wrapped in the rich Taishuanate spiritual energy. It sinks and floats, and the light shines. 13 years passed by in a flash. Although Tianpeng Marshal Zhu Gangli looks like a rough warrior, he is actually a cautious and smart man in his heart. When he saw that the time assigned by the teacher had come, he took a dozen soldiers with him, mounted his horse, and went straight to the royal horse prison. Before they reached the place, they heard several long neighing sounds, which sounded like thunder from the sky. Then came the sound of hoofbeats like a raindrop. All the heavenly soldiers subconsciously looked in the direction of the sound. A black cloud appeared from the intersection of heaven and earth. The speed was very fast, and it was in front of you in the blink of an eye. The mighty herd of horses rushed over like an overwhelming mountain. The momentum are so overwhelming that it makes people look pale. Zhu Gangli did not dare to stop the horses and quickly led the heavenly soldiers to escape above. Looking at the galloping Pegasus, Zhu Gangli's heart moved, and he immediately activated his magic power, making a sound like thunder. Where is Bai Ma'an and Sun Wukong? A ray of light flew from below like lightning, and out of it walked out a somewhat funny-looking golden-haired monkey wearing an official robe and wearing a black hat on his head. You call me? Are you the newly named Bai Ma'an Sun Wukong? It's me. Who are you? Bold. How can you, a junior official, ask about my marshal's name? The Lord humiliated his minister to death. Before Zhu Gangli could speak, the soldiers next to him started shouting angrily. Little official. Sun Wukong, you just rushed into me with your horse, why don't you kneel down and apologize? Zhu Gangli, who looked unruly on the surface, was feeling very uneasy in his heart at this time. He is just Yuan Yang Golden Immortal, but the person opposite is Tai Celestial Immortal. There was a huge gap in realms. If the two of them faced off, he would only get beaten. Secretly holding the Vajra amulet given by the teacher in his hand, if Sun Wukong attacks, he will activate this amulet to resist. Kneel down and apologize. Infinite anger suddenly rose from the bottom of his heart. Now he is no longer the ignorant old monkey he was back then. The only caution he has been worn away by the chaos in the Dragon Palace and the underworld. The unruly heart can tolerate being humiliated by others. And he is still a person whose cultivation is not as good as his own. With a pull of his right hand, he hit Zhu Gangli with the stick. I kneel to your grandma. Not good. He quickly pulled out the magic talisman, and a layer of tough Buddha light blocked him in front of him. Boom. After the loud noise like a drum, Zhu Gangli was instantly blown away like a ball. Pity the dozen soldiers who were with him, but with Yuan Yang celestial immortal cultivation and no heavy treasures to protect their bodies, they could all be settled with one stick. Sun Wukong, you beat Shang Guan and are good at killing heavenly soldiers. I will go to the Jade Emperor to give you a copy. After saying that, he didn't dare to stay any longer, and pushed the escape light to the extreme, disappearing into the layers of fairy clouds like lightning. Humph, you can run fast. It's a disaster, it's a disaster. Your Majesty, you have caused a big disaster. Several horse overseers who were herding horses ran over in a panic. Why panic? A loud shout made all the horse supervisors tremble and stop quickly. Let me ask you, who was that guy just now? That's Marshal Tian Peng, who is in charge of millions of Tianhe naval forces and has the second rank of the Jade Emperor's official title. Second rank Tianpeng Marshal? Then what rank of officer am I, Bai Mawen? After several horse supervisors exchanged glances, they all shook their heads. No manners. Nothing, you think it's too big. Not big, not big, just call it unentered stream. Although Sun Wukong felt bad in his heart, he still asked without giving up. Why do you call it not entering the stream? The horse supervisor said, wait at the end. Such an official, the lowest and smallest, is only allowed to look after the horses. It seems that after you took office, you were so diligent and fed the horses fat, but they only got the word good. If there is a little, if you are tired, you will still have to be blamed. If you are extremely hurt, you will still have to be punished. When Sun Wukong heard this, he felt that anger arose in his heart, and evil grew in his courage. Damn it, you dare to look down on me like this. You want me to be king and ancestor in Huiguo Mountain, and you actually coax me to raise horses for him? It's really abominable. As he spoke, he tore off his official robe and threw away his hat like a pair of worn-out shoes. I don't want to be a bird official anymore, and go back to my Huiguo Mountain to be happy. Holding the golden cudgel, he set up a somersault cloud and flew straight towards Nantianmen. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. The horse supervisors were unable to stop him and could only watch him go away. This time, it was the battle between Li Jing, the king of the tower, the third prince Neza, and the giant spirit god conquering the Huiguo Mountain. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 851. Chapter 832 The Battle Between the Giant Spirit God and Sun Wukong. The white clouds are pointing upward, and the nectar is sprinkled on Sumeru. One part of the yin and yang ginseng is made into 5, and the wonderful principles are ginseng to reveal the true spirit. Wonderful sounds bloomed from the Dragon Emperor's mouth. Blossoming 5-color ceilings fell down like stars. Infinite 5 elements of spiritual energy are derived, covering the surrounding area of 10 feet. When he sat down, the eldest disciple Zhuge Wolong, the second disciple Hesha Taoist, and the third disciple Sun Er sat cross-legged. Behind the 3 disciples, there are 6 second-generation disciples, Gu Hong, Shi Sheng, Huo Wuhei, Shang Guanhong, Wang Li, and Yi Shiu. And the 9 fourth-generation disciples behind him were sitting upright and listening carefully. All the disciples here have achieved the Tai realm. Therefore, what the Dragon Emperor was explaining was also the wonderful principles of the Tai realm of the 5 elements Tao. After a long time, Swanyan disappeared and the disciples woke up. "Thank you, teacher, Grandmaster." The Dragon Emperor nodded slightly. His eyes swept over Zuch Wolong, Taoist Hesha, and Sun Er. "The cultivation of the three of you is enough. After sorting out the results of today's lecture, prepare to retreat and break through Tai Xian. Disciple, obey." Although Sun Er spent most of his time practicing Taoism in Chongshan World, his qualifications were so strong that under the aura of Chongshan World, he actually maintained the same cultivation progress as Zuch Wolong and Taoist Hesha. His eyes turned. Sun Rui. Sitting at the end, a young man wearing a green robe quickly bowed and saluted. "Ancestor. I once said that if any of my disciples break through the Tai realm, they will be given immortal treasures. Now that you have broken through, I will give you this 5-light chisel." As soon as he patted the green gourd on his waist, a 5-color spiritual light flashed across. Sun Rui subconsciously caught it. In the palm of his hand, a chisel shrouded in colorful rays of light, 1 foot and 3 inches long, engraved with divine patterns on all sides, with an animal head embossed on the top, and a sharp bottom with a cold light, appeared in front of his eyes. A touch of consciousness. 6 powerful Tai immortal forbidden spirits reflected in the sea of consciousness. A top-notch middle-grade immortal treasure. Sun Rui was overjoyed and quickly thanked him. "Thank you, Patriarch, for the treasure." The Dragon Emperor nodded. "You can tell your disciples how to practice well. But I will give immortal treasures to anyone who breaks through the Tai realm." Over the years, he has traveled far and wide, captured and killed dozens of Tai realm monks, and obtained a lot of immortal treasures and Tai realm materials. With Su Junming's current weapon refining ability, it is easy to take these treasures to the next level. Therefore, among the entire Chongshan sect, he has the most treasures. After all, the disciples respectfully agreed. "You come with me." With a flick of the finger, a majestic stone gate shrouded in 4-color auspicious light appeared in mid-air. The 2 divine patterns of Hunyuan on the lintel reveal the aura that penetrates time and space and determines the universe. Feel the aura emanating from the projection of Hunyuan Jinmen. It's stronger than before again. I'm afraid it won't be long before I can practice the 12th restriction. As the most important treasure in Su Junming's hands, it is also the most inherited treasure of Chongshan Jinmen and the magical weapon for suppressing luck. The importance of Hunyuan Jinmen is second only to the bronze mirror. Walk. The disciples followed the Dragon Emperor into the Hunyuan Divine Gate. The divine pattern representing space above the Divine Gate shines brightly, and the Divine Gate disappears instantly. When he reappeared, he was already above a mountain range. Beyond the mountains, which are millions of miles away, is the vast blue sea that stretches as far as the eye can see. Hunyuan Jinmen's heavy spiritual light turned into a thick crystal wall, covering everyone inside. All the disciples looked at each other, wondering why the Patriarch would bring them here. I wanted to ask, but looking at the ancestor's face that said no strangers should enter, no one dared to speak. Everyone had no choice but to meditate quietly and understand what they had learned from listening to the sermon previously. Time passed little by little, and it was 7 days in a blink of an eye. Sudden. A thick lead cloud appeared in the cloudless blue sky. The clouds were still far away when first seen, but within a moment, they were approaching as fast as a galloping horse. The vast clouds spread out, and in the cold and murderous aura, endless soldiers with helmets and armor appeared. There are hundreds of large flags fluttering in the wind among the soldiers and generals. The most eye-catching one is a yellow 100-foot giant flag with a line of large characters on it. The demon-conquering Generalissimo, the Tota King Li Jing. There is another huge green flag next to it. The third prince of Neza, the great god of the 3 Tanhai Hui. Finally, there is the devil-conquering pioneer officer giant spirit god. These 3 flags are the largest. People from heaven. All the disciples came to their senses instantly. That's right. The people who came were none other than Li Jing, the king of towers, who was ordered by the Jade Emperor to attack Bai Ma'an and Sun Wukong, who secretly went to the lower realm. In the Chinese army camp, Li Jing was sitting at the top, and the three princes and others below were arranged on the left and right according to their official positions. As a general, ALA has arrived at Huaguo Mountain. Who is willing to fight against the monster monkey for me? The first person on the right, a huge man with a height of 3 feet and a beard all over his face, stood up. Marshal Qi, I will serve as the vanguard of demon-conquering troops and will do my duty. I sincerely ask the marshal to let me go into battle. The giant spirit god is commendable for your loyalty and bravery. I will order you to be the first formation to recruit 1,000 elite soldiers to capture the demon monkey. Thank you, Marshal. The giant spirit god took the token, went outside the camp gate, ordered 1,000 soldiers and horses, and carried the clouds to the top of Huaguo Mountain. Come here, beat the drum and cheer for the giant spirit god. Li Jing issued the order, rumble, 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 and the earth-shaking drum sound resounded throughout the countryside. When the soldiers heard the sound of the drums, a rush of blood rushed from the bottom of their hearts, and their desire to rush in and kill gradually became stronger. Such a huge movement has already shocked the entire Huaguo Mountain. Ba! War of words and thunder. The guardian giant spirit god is here in front of the Lingxiao Palace. The demon monkey Sun Wukong will be captured as soon as possible. As soon as those words shook the sky, a large demonic cloud rushed up from the Huaguo Mountain. Although not as neatly arrayed as the heavenly soldiers and generals, soaring into the sky, the demon formation with swords and spears in hand also has its own majesty. Sun Wukong, wearing a purple gold crown with phoenix wings on his head, wearing a golden armor with a shuttlecock, walking on lotus root silk, and holding a wishful golden hoop, lined up in front of the formation. As expected, he is a majestic, gorgeous, and domineering monkey king. Who are you? How dare you make noises in front of my grandson? You blind hosen, you don't recognize me. Listen up, I am the vanguard officer and giant spirit general under the command of King Li Tian of Udigao Shang Shen Xiao Tuo Pagoda. I am here to capture you under the imperial decree of the Jade Emperor. If you are wise, you should be captured quickly. If you are even half a minute late, I will discipline you. All the evil animals and beasts on the mountain were turned into powder. Sun Wukong was filled with anger. Bold God, I don't know how high the sky is. I wanted to beat you to death with a stick, but I was just worried about missing a messenger. Go back and tell the Jade Emperor, he doesn't know how to employ people. My old grandson has infinite abilities, but he asked me to work for him raise horses. Look at the name on the flag. Looking in the direction of his finger, a 100-foot-long banner slowly rose from Tianzi Peak, the main peak of Huaguo Mountain. The 4 characters Monkey King are fluttering in the wind, so majestic. The giant spirit god saw it and was angry in his heart. I thought that I had been an official in heaven for tens of thousands of years, and had been born and died hundreds of times, but I was just a general. You, a monster from the lower world, how can you dare to be called equal to the sky even though you have the ability to accumulate points? The more he thought about it, the angrier he became, and he roared angrily. The bold demon monkey, who doesn't know the heights of the world, will take my axe. Suan Hua's big axe split Huashan Mountain with one stroke, and with great force, it struck directly at Sun Wukong's head. Little tricks. The golden cudgel is horizontal. Clang. The harsh sound of gold and iron echoed thousands of miles away. Feeling the tyrannical power fed back from the Suan Hua axe, the giant spirit god was shocked in his heart. He served as a general in heaven and fought for many years. Although his cultivation level is higher than his, there are many people who are stronger than him. But there are very few who are stronger than him in terms of strength. After all, he has the blood of the ancient powerful giant spirit clan flowing in his body. Although it is no longer pure, it has also given him a powerful body and strength. Hey, let's watch. In one stroke of the stick, he saw the true and false nature of the fat black man opposite him. Sun Wukong lost his caution and took the initiative to meet him. He retains the body of an innate spirit at the Tai Chi level. Although he has not inherited the magical power of moving stars and changing battles from the Lingming stone monkey, his strength is also extremely amazing. The disciples of the Dragon Emperor, who were watching the battle through the projection of the bronze mirror, could not take their eyes away, and at the same time they were constantly communicating with their spiritual consciousness. That monkey is so strong, and his stick skills are no worse than senior brother Yang, a disciple of Uncle Fusion. Yes, yes. But the big man can't do it. His martial arts skills are meager. If he hadn't been strong, he would have been defeated long ago. I heard he said that he is a giant spirit general, and he is probably a remnant of the ancient giant spirit clan. As we all know, the giant spirit clan, like the witch clan, is not easy to use their brains. Compared to the discussions among the third and fourth disciples, Dragon Emperor, Zhuge Wolong, Taoist Master Hesha and Sun Yi are just watched quietly. With their current strength, this level of fighting is no different from children playing house. Let them take action, and the great five elements divine light can easily suppress these two people. The Dragon Emperor stared at the clumsy giant spirit god and shook his head slightly. It's a pity that since Longbo and Quafu, there has never been a strong person in the giant spirit clan. In the ancient times, thousands of tribes competed for power. At that time, the Wu tribe had not yet risen. The strongest races in the world were dragons, phoenixes, unicorns, white tigers, Suanwu, and the giant spirits. A great war at the end of the ancient era caused the decline of all races, and the beginning of the ancient era. Only then did the Wu clan rise, giving Dijun and Dong Huangtai the opportunity to integrate the scattered tribes and merge into the monster clan. At the same time, it also laid the foundation for the preaching in Xixiao Palace, the birth of the Seven Saints, and the grand war between lich and witches in ancient times. Thanks to Renwiji who copied all the books in the heavenly court, otherwise the Dragon Emperor would not know the secrets of these ancient times. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 852. Of course, the giant spirit god in the realm of Yu and Yang Golden Immortal cannot defeat Sun Wukong in the realm of Tai Celestial Immortal. If the latter had not harbored murderous intentions, the giant spirit god would have fallen under the stick long ago. Li Jing, who was in the military camp, looked at the battle situation in the water mirror with a calm expression. The outcome of today's battle has been arranged long ago. Neza. The third prince got up and came to the hall. What are your orders from Commander-in-Chief, Father? The giant spirit god is no match for the monster monkey. With my general order, you can lead 3,000 elite soldiers to help the giant spirit god capture the monster monkey. Your order? Neza walked out of the camp and remembered Li Jing's explanation in his mind. You want me to fake defeat? Huh, if Sun Wukong is not bad at it, I will let him win. If he is too bad, don't let me admit defeat. As the direct descendant of Chan Xiao, he doesn't care about Buddhism. The leader of the army arrived outside the camp gate, but before he could take action, the giant spirit god had already been interrupted by Sun Wukong with his Suanhua axe, and retreated in embarrassment. Seeing Neza, his face was full of shame. Third prince, the young general was defeated by that monster monkey. Don't worry, General Giant Spirit. You will be holding the battle for me from the side. Thank you, Prince. The giant spirit god was filled with joy and quickly stepped aside. If Neza could take down the demon monkey Sun Wukong, then his faults would not be held unduly accountable by King Li Tian. If Neza also loses, it means that Sun Wukong is very powerful and it is understandable that he is not his opponent. No matter what, it won't become a felony. Neza stepped on the hot wheel and held a fire-pointed spear, and went straight to kill Sun Wukong. He saw that the person coming was a little baby. He wanted to ask his name and then deal with it, but he didn't expect that the other party wouldn't bother him at all and just came over with a gun. The powerful magic power and fierce strength are more than 100 times stronger than the previous big man who claimed to be the giant spirit god. Sun Wukong didn't dare to neglect, so he quickly became extremely vigilant and fought with Neza. The two men were fighting with guns and sticks, and the fight was lively. The Dragon Emperor stared at the two sides fighting each other, especially the famous third prince Neza. This shouldn't be who he is. The current Neza is only the cultivation level of Tai True Immortal, which is far behind the third generation of the conferred gods who is second only to Yang Jian. But by activating the bronze mirror projection, you can see the soul energy in his body. Obviously, this is also a superb soul-based secret technique of cloning. In addition to the Dragon Emperor and Tianting, there were other spectators around Huaguo Mountain. The 18 Arhats transformed into a one-horned ghost king, a macaque, and a demon tiger, and mingled among the demons to watch the battle. Seeing Sun Wukong at a disadvantage, Arhat who subdued the dragon frowned. What's going on? Didn't Li Jing tell him? Impossible. With Li Jing's character, he would never fail to tell. It was probably Neza who made his own decision, Fu Luhan said. Damn it, my great cause of spreading Buddhism to the east in this world must not be hindered by him, the long-browed Arhat said angrily. Be patient and don't be impatient. Let's take a look first before talking, said the Arhat holding a bowl. As time goes by bit, Neza, who has been suppressing Sun Wukong, is gradually falling behind. It is difficult to win even with all the 3 heads and 6 arms. After catching the stick forcefully, he jumped out of the circle and flew straight to the camp above. Sun Wukong looked at his retreating back, took a breath, and did not continue to pursue him. He barely won this fight. Give him the Tai Bodhi pill given by the Buddha and wish him to break through to the realm of Tai True Immortal. Otherwise, he will still be like this and cause trouble in heaven. The dragon subduing Arhat said in a deep voice. All the Arhats nodded. The current Sun Wukong is too far away from defeating the Buddha in a Buddhist fight. Speaking of it will only make people laugh. After returning to the camp, he simply scolded Neza and Juling Shen for a few words, then broke camp and headed towards Nantianmen. Now that the play has been performed, there is no need to stay any longer. As the heavenly soldiers left, Sun Wukong also withdrew his troops and returned to the mountain. The sky, which had been filled with clouds and filled with murderous intent before, had once again returned to its clear sky. Okay, let's go back. The Dragon Emperor pointed at the Hunyuan Divine Gate, and the master, disciple, and other 19 people disappeared above the Huaguo Mountain. The reason why I brought them here is to watch the battle, broaden their horizons, and take a look at Sun Wukong's quality. Sure enough, even with the physical body of the Lingming stone monkey, an ordinary soul would still be unable to achieve astonishing results. In contrast, Sun Shi, the original spiritual stone monkey, although he lost his body, made rapid progress due to the sufficient time brought by Hunyuan Zhenman and the blessing of his understanding by the bronze mirror. Now he is a martial arts expert at the peak of the rank of general. His combat power is equivalent to that of Tai Xianxian. If the great magical power of moving stars and changing battles is activated, Tai Golden Immortal can also fight. Of course, if the current Sun Wukong is given enough time, he can grow up quickly, but Buddhism did not give him enough time. They really wanted to eat Nanzan Buzhu as soon as possible. Demon King Pen waved his hand, and the water mirror in mid-air shattered instantly, then turned into light and disappeared. Is he really worthy of us using purple ginseng to win over him? The Lion and Camel King sitting next to him looked equally puzzled. Opposite the two, there was a young man wearing a brocade robe and a feather crown. Although he felt that Sun Wukong was not as strong as he thought, he had to obey the orders above. To be able to cultivate to the level of Tai Celestial Immortal in 400 years, one's qualifications are extremely high. Such a powerful person from the demon race cannot be ignored. Without Buddhism's vigorous training, he would never have reached his current state in 400 years, the Lion and Camel King said coldly. You want to disobey the demon emperor's order, the young man in brocade robe said coldly. Don't dare, don't dare. The Lion and Camel King shook his head quickly. It's just that the purple ginseng pill is a treasure of our demon clan. It would be a waste to leave it to him, a demon who is destined to enter Buddhism. Whether it's wasted or not is not something you and I can decide. The young man in brocade robe turned his hand, and a purple-black wooden box appeared in his palm. He glanced at the Lion and Camel King and handed it over to the Peng Demon King. I'll leave it to you to hand it over to Sun Wukong. By the way, tell him that we both belong to the demon clan, and we, the Buddha Demon Court, will always be friends with him. The Peng Demon King nodded. Clear. Seeing this, the Lion and Camel King secretly gritted his teeth. But he did not dare to resist the envoy of the demon court. Okay, now that's done, it's time for me to leave. Just stood up. Sudden. A black hole the size of a bowl suddenly appeared in the hole. A generous palm stretched out from it. Before Demon King Peng could react, he grabbed the jade box in his hand and quickly retracted it. Good but. The Peng Demon King was furious. He was a person with amazing speed. He was the first among the three demons to react and struck the black hole with his right palm like lightning. Boom! The mana shook, and this temporary cave opened in the flower and fruit mountain was instantly in a mess. But the black hole has long since disappeared, and the purple ginseng pill has also disappeared. The Peng Demon King and the young man in Jinyi looked ugly. The latter gritted his teeth. Hushan Taoism. Although the Lion and Camel King had a sad face, he was happy in his heart. So that you don't believe me. Su Junming, who was far away in heaven, looked at the purple-black jade box in his hand. After a brief inspection, he opened the seal on it. Su Junming, who originally watched the battle with the help of a bronze mirror, not only discovered the Dragon Emperor and his entourage, as well as the 18 Arhats of Buddhism, but also discovered the lurking Bull Demon King, Peng Demon King, Jiao Demon King, Lion Camel King, Macaque King, and Sun Shi's 3, one of the zombie clones is King Yutao. The strange thing is that except for the Bull Demon King who is alone, the rest have powerful forces behind them. Behind the Peng Demon King and the Lion and Camel King is Futu Mountain, one of the three major demon courts in Luzhu, Beiju. The Jiao Demon King is the only one of the three demon courts in Luzhu, Beiju, which is located in the depths of the North Sea. The Macaque King comes from the most powerful of the three demon courts, Zaiyao Mountain. Beiming Palace and Zaiyao Mountain just want to see what is so special about Sun Wukong, who is valued by Buddhism and intended to be cultivated as a protector of the Buddha. Futu Mountain is the only major demon force that wants to win over the opponent. The Bull Demon King purely wants to make friends, and his thoughts are not that complicated. These monsters are all in the remote Beiju Luzhu, thousands of miles apart from Nanzan Buzhu where Chongshan Academy is located. If there is no accident, there will be no contact between the two sides for thousands of years. Therefore, he did not intend to care about these people. However, when the tiger demon took out this box of elixir called purple ginseng pill from the magic bag, his curiosity was quickly aroused. The elixir that can make the Peng Demon King of Tai Xianxian level and the Lion and Camel King of Tai true immortal become greedy must be a high-grade elixir. Su Junming, who was studying the prescription of Tai 3 Emperor's pill, grabbed it without hesitation. Su Junming removed the seal on it, and the rich medicinal energy dissipated. Opening the lid of the box, bright purple light, with strong medicinal energy, shot up into the sky. Wrapped in the infinite aura of spiritual light, 3 purple pills the size of longan appeared in the eyes. The pills are dotted with stars, which is extremely magical. Su Junming, who is good at alchemy, smelled the fragrance of the elixir. After tasting it for a moment, a trace of disappointment appeared on his face. This purple ginseng pill is indeed the best Tai spiritual pill, but its main function is to heal wounds, and increasing mana is secondary. This is obviously not what he wants. Fortunately, it's not completely ineffective. The top healing pill is also in his enlightenment plan, but it is not as urgent as the power increasing pill. Move the bronze mirror, and the structure inside the elixir comes into view. Those shining light spots all turned into clusters of eclipses that were combined together. Thousand-year poria, morning dew flower, xianming grass, no, the preparation of these medicines is too bad. How can you make the best healing elixir? And the method of refining the elixir is too rough. He raised his eyebrows. The main medicine has so strong medicinal properties, it's actually purple ginseng. It is possible for an alchemist, who can only refine Yuan Yang level elixirs, to refine the ultimate Tai level healing elixir. You can imagine how powerful the purple ginseng as the main medicine is. I didn't expect there to be such a valuable treasure in the temple of the Buddha. There was a look of pain on his face. For an alchemist, it is simply too uncomfortable to watch others waste materials like this. This purple ginseng is definitely an elixir that is above the middle grade of Deluo. Don't feel bad. The Demon King of Futu Mountain is a strong man at the Deluo level. If you want to snatch the treasure from him, you will have to advance to Deluo level. Renwuji next to him joked. Fasten the lid of the box, affix the seal, take a deep breath, swallow all the medicinal gas and refine it in your belly. He slapped the gourd on his waist and swallowed the wooden box. Sun Wukong will go to Pantao Yuan soon. Please keep an eye on it while I go out. Renwuji frowned and said, you don't really plan to go to Futu Mountain, do you? For an alchemist, the worst thing is for good materials to be wasted by some idiots. As soon as he took a step, his figure disappeared instantly. Hey, you don't want to die. The left and right are just clones, not to mention I still have a broken bronze sword. A distant voice came from the space channel. Renwuji shook his head helplessly. This is so damn obsessive-compulsive.